The town of Moonbury is in desperate need of an expert medical practitioner. The local residents don't have the knowledge to identify basic ailments like bruises on their ankles. I'm a member of the medical association and I've been summoned from the capital to lend my expertise in this field. However, this is not the first time my organization has had a presence on Moonbury Island, and from what I'm hearing, those previous occurrences have resulted in catastrophes, devastated landscapes, the extinction of native fauna, and accidents that have left scars on the hearts of the locals. To complete 100% of potion permit, I will need to uncover the past. What really happened here? And can those deep wounds be healed with the power of science? But most importantly, I will need to work towards restoring the trust that the residents once had in my organization. Welcome to 100% of Potion Permit, the movie. The game began when I was given the opportunity to create my Potion Permit character. I always like to make a representation of myself, but with 4 hairstyles to choose from, I sure had to take my time with this one. Artemis has been born, and a new game has been started. These achievements are coming in thick and fast already. I'm aboard a locomotive. I have a dog beside me. I already know what I'm gonna call this little mongrel, but this goblin is called Nestor. Dr. Nestor from the Medical Association. He's on his way to meet our colleagues on Moonbury Island, indicating that they're my associates as well. It makes sense since we're on the same train. I guess that's my destination, Moonbury. And Nestor is a dog person, and he finds Ben adorable. As you can see, that is in fact my puppy's name. He is a good boy indeed, and Nestor asks him if he's going to help me with my very important assignment. We are nearly at Moonbury Island, so I guess I'll see what my purpose is soon enough, as Nestor was quite literally only talking to Ben the entire journey. But he finally states that while I'm there, I will be representing the Medical Association. Okay, I have some sort of heavy burden on my shoulders. If I'm successful, we may finally be able to establish a branch on the island. Speaking of which, I take my first steps outside. The island looks pretty lush. Ben's strutting around like he already owns the joint. And here comes some locals now. So I thought, nope, these are our colleagues, Moira and Colin. The latter finally states my profession. I'm a chemist. While traveling here, these 2 specimens have already spoken to the mayor who is expecting us. Again, Moira echoes what Nestor was saying before. The association is counting on me. Don't let them down. Yes, everyone knows what's up but me apparently. Even as I take my leave, these 3 stooges don't come by the way. They stay back and wonder whether or not I will succeed. No matter, they're going back to the capital. Nestor was literally just holding my hand to get off the train, it seems. I crossed the dodgy looking bridge to meet the mayor and his wife. I sure would have appreciated Nestor's hand-holding here on this rickety old bridge. Mayor, or Meyer as is his name, welcomes me to Moonbury. This is his wife Marielle, and these 2 have sent the original letter asking for my help. You see, their daughter needs help. Apparently she's been feeling ill for quite some time. They have been trying, but no cure has been found. So wait, my very important task is giving medical attention to a sick girl? What, is that about it? Well, they do have a local witch doctor who's already been treating the patient. Okay, so maybe it's a bit more serious than I thought. In fact, it will be. Maya says he'd better inform me about the previous dealings Moonbury has had with chemists from the capital. But first, he'd like to introduce me to the town residents. He does exactly that. We're all in this bar area, and I give everyone such a cordial smile to melt the heart. I am here to cure Allmate's daughter, but this isn't welcome news apparently. Never thought I'd see another chemist in our town, says one of them. You want to watch who you bring in, Meyer? Look, everyone seems displeased in some way, but this one here says the important dialogue. Nobody from the capital can be trusted. Have you forgotten what they did? Oh dear me, what have I been thrown into? Everybody does indeed look very unhappy. Maya tries to brush it off. Everyone is feeling excitement. Mate, if this is their excitement, I'd hate to see them angry. He then shows me to my place of residence. There are holes in the roof and walls, mate. It belonged to the previous chemist who moved away. Obviously, Maya continues. They have had history of incidents involving the Medical Association, and the relationship has been disastrous thus far. Of course, I don't have a clue about what's going on, but apparently I'll learn more about it as I explore the island. For now, I discovered my bed and I had some rest. That room was barren, but the next one looks in desperate need of repair. Well, welcome to my new humble abode, I guess. Maya introduces me to Zhao, his personal assistant. At least he seems pleasant. It's my first day here, and Maya would like me to start making myself familiar with the island. There's a ranger near Meadow Range, and he will show me the ropes. Now that was the end of a very long introduction, and I can finally take control of Aramis. I have a look at the map, and I can see the town and a yellow marker, which is where I need to meet the ranger fella. I head into that direction, and I do the first of many unnecessary commando rules while doing so. I saunter onto the meadow range, and I meet this chap, who introduces himself as Forest. He gives me a welcome gift. More specifically, he gives me tools because he has a job for me gathering herbs. He starts to ramble that there was an accident in the past that killed off many of their native plants. Connected to the association maybe? Yep, people from the capital are held responsible for killing off native flowers here. He takes his leave, and I can see he's given me 3 tools: axe, hammer, and sickle, as I can flick between them using my Q and E buttons. My task is to gather basil, jasmine, and daisies. This slime is none of those things, but I do decide to give it a slap with my axe, and after I do, I'm surprised when it splits into 2 smaller slimes that get a brazen hit on me. I slice and dice this unknown flower a few times, and when I harvest it, I see it is indeed a daisy, something that I'm looking for. I'm not looking for stone, but I use my hammer to break that up anyways, followed with chopping down my very first tree. That would be my first rockin' tree harvested, the first of many, I'm sure. I get a mushroom, another daisy, and as I harvest this rock, which will also yield me iron ore, I see the blue bar at the top is my stamina level. It's been decreasing with these actions. Have a quick look at my minimap. See how that daisy just popped in? It means I just discovered its location, and it will be permanently marked on my map from now on. I'm already introduced to big boy trees, who are clearly too sturdy for my little axe, but with persistence I can cut them down, at the cost of a lot of stamina. Upon slaying another slime, this one not only dropped 2 smaller ones, but also a sticky jelly. Maybe it'll be useful? As I'm going about my business, I see a drumstick Ben icon down there. In fact, Ben looks mopey all of a sudden. I think he wants food? How do I feed him then? Oops, sorry Ben, I found basil, so not time for that yet. Plus, I found a walking mushroom who I squish with my hammer. But I am almost out of stamina, and the game directs me to go take a bath to recuperate. Maybe after I take down this big blue bear. He is indeed a big fella, and once he's defeated, I get his claws and honey from him. Appropriate, I guess. I didn't find Jasmine today. It's 3 PM and I wanted to take a bath, but Ben is falling behind and I have to whistle for him. Might be slow because I haven't fed him yet. I use the map and I locate the bathhouse north of my humble abode. In the house of cleanliness, I meet Cassandra and Olive, neither of which were very friendly, mind you. I finally find the prompt, and taking a bath will take 2 hours. Apparently I sit here like this for the entire duration. It's late in the evening and I roll my way back into the forest. I'm looking for Jasmine, I haven't seen it yet. But after a little bit of exploring, I finally find the elusive flower and I collect my fill. However, Allmate Forest wanted to see me at 8 PM at the latest, so I have to catch him in the morning, I think. So the next day. Buddy, are you still hungry by chance? Yeah, I haven't figured out how to feed him just yet. That's for later. For now, I need to go and see Forest. The task says I need to go speak to him at 10 AM. I'm about 3 hours early, but she'll be alright, mate. Maybe not. He proceeds to be the rudest prick to date. Step aside, chemist. Talk to me when you've shown him I can actually work. Excuse me? What a rude fella. I guess I'll come back in a little while after I gathered some bits and pieces. All the resources I gathered yesterday have regrown. The same ones, so I will eventually know where I have to go to get the resources I need. Those blips on the map are the permanent locations of these herbs, by the way. The same enemies in the same spots as well, it seems. Anyways. Goodness me, mate, you are really rude. Oh, what the hell? Once I got this very awkward cutscene, I do get the desired dialogue from Old Boy. I need to go find Zhao next, he says. A little celebration thing pops up, a stamp of approval, and I have completed my first task, quest, request, whatever it may be. There's a red thumbs down on the left there, an indication of my reputation in the town, and I'm gonna have to work on that. I find Zhao in the town hall, who says that I have passed the first test. He introduces me to Runeheart, who may be able to fix my cauldron in my house. Perhaps a metal worker, a blacksmith perhaps. The cauldron, it looks wrecked. Can she do it? Piece of cake, she says. Yeah, literally 5 seconds later she has fixed this thing, and it has already been brought to a boil. Wonderful. This makes it perfectly ready to brew up some potions. I am a chemist, so this makes sense. Those resources I've been gathering in the meadow range will be my ingredients. Now, Zhao didn't say what he wanted, but when I interact with my cauldron, a menu pops open. A few potions are listed, and I can't see a 1 next to this neutralizing herbal balm and the wound cleanser. cleanser. Another point of view, I'm looking at my cauldron, a collection of squares in the pot and ingredients on the left. So what's the recipe of this thing? There isn't one? I read the description. A potion with a cooling effect and a powerful antibacterial property. I can't see any properties on any ingredients I currently have, but I can see that this basil thing is 2 red squares, and that sap thing is a single red square. So I haphazardly start throwing these same ingredient types into this cauldron, trying to match the puzzle pieces. Sure, I'll start brewing. Miraculously, that herb and sap tossed into this pot several times gives me a wound cleanser. I also get an achievement to brew my first potion, which is a winner. I take a look at that neutralizing bomb puzzle brewing game. There's a lot more squares here. Even adding everything I have, I don't have what I need. Looks like I have to go visit the meadow range again for these 2 resources. Sadly, unbeknownst to me at this time, I could have simply pressed Q and E to shuffle through the different categories of ingredients that I had. I was looking at the red or fire type, but there are 3 more sections, which I'll see later. So, because I thought I was looking for only 2 types of things, I ran past everything else as a result, but I do gather what I thought I needed. When I came back, I started plonking it all back into the cauldron. When I tried to add this last sap, it wouldn't let me. That's because my cauldron can only take 5 ingredients at this time. I need to solve the potion puzzle with 5 ingredients until I upgrade the cauldron itself. And moving on, a collection of the exact same stuff is now making this herbal balm. It's a miracle of chemistry. Benny boy looks hungry again, but I have potions I need to deliver. I'm so sorry, boy. I also have to be sorry for my punctuality. I missed this task this day, so I took a bath to wash away the filth. I then spent the entire night gathering anything else in the meadows, all the while Ben was whimpering behind me because of his empty belly. I find a scroll, it seems. It belonged to a previous chemist from the capital. I'm gonna paraphrase. Dr. Samuel here was leading the team exploring the area. Moonbury soil is very unique. The range is so green and with a great deal of vegetation. It is a thriving ecosystem. We are planning to take soil samples to the capital for research, and if we play our cards right, we can increase the fertility of the land, and as a result the vegetation will grow faster, but they will do what they can. Well, I have to agree that the vegetation grows overnight. I harvested these herbs yesterday and they've all grown back already. I interact with the decorating thing in my room when I wake up. The only thing I can add here at the moment is this really dodgy looking couch. Yeah, it looks good. As well as this carpet with holes in it. Yeah, I definitely need some new furniture. This is my research table. Nothing to do here yet. I don't know what this is, but it's broken. Fair enough. I open a book on the counter with a few pages, and there's a lot of face down cards. I don't know what this is either. Now this looks like a kitchen, also in need of desperate repair. I'm a minimalist apparently. I go and sit on my couch, and really, this image right here reminds me of my Traveller's Rest Inn rooms. They looked very similar, except with nicer furniture of course. I strike up a conversation with people. Martha here says hello, but feels like she shouldn't talk to me, because everyone else thinks she shouldn't. Yorn, who's next to her, is like Forrest. I need to prove myself to be able to speak to him. This fella here, Osman, he looks like a cop and he says he will be watching me. My god, if a police officer is dishing out threats like that, yeah, I have my work cut out for me. Goodness me, that's like watch your back, mate. I don't like that. At least Zhao will talk to me, and I have completed his request. Once I gave him the potions, that was it for the day. I missed this yesterday, and now it looks like I have the rest of the day free. So I go and chat up some gals. This one is called Helena. I peruse my map, which leads me to bulk and build. Looks like I can renovate my kitchen from here and buy a bunch of other random furniture, all made by this handsome fellow called Reiner. I check my social tab and there's a lot of question mark people. Looks like there's quite a few specimens I can meet in this town. A fishing tab which I've seen none of yet, but I have encountered monsters and there's a description of each one. I do see a fishing location, but alas I have not found the willy equivalent from Stardew Valley, so I don't have a rod yet. I think I did find the Linus equivalent. His name is Zeke, and he's having a natural conversation with Dean here. I'm not talking to them, they are having this conversation between themselves, so this game does have a living atmosphere to it. Now Olive isn't home, so I snoop in her house. I make myself nostalgic, running around a herd of cows. This fella in the middle is called Luke, and he seems friendly enough. Inside the farmhouse I find Laura, the little one, and Mercy working the mob over there. I can buy some veggies, milk, eggs, and meat here, which is quite nice. It would also just be nice if I figured out how to feed Ben. He has been baking for 3 days now. But I find myself in a church speaking to Cecilia, and I get even more nostalgia. God, I went into a church many times in my Graveyard Keeper playthrough. I said the profound words of "our church is great" every single purple day. That was great. I missed that game. That was a good game. Yep, it was a good game, but I've explored enough for today. I hit the hay early. I get accosted by Maya the first thing in the morning. His daughter Rue is back. They've taken her to the clinic next door. There's a clinic there? Okay. Indeed, a run-down looking clinic. Inside, Rue is in the bed, and Matteo there is the local witch doctor. I guess he's been treating her elsewhere, and now the mayor wants me to have a look at her. Matteo, who is displeased, does divulge whatever he's tried with his knowledge. It has all failed. Rue herself says that her neck feels weird. A window pops up. The patient and her complaints are on the left. A human diagram appears on the right. I follow the prompts and locate the troubled area on the human diagram. A mini game. There are going to be several eventually, in which you have to follow prompts, but this one is easy enough. Once I realized I needed to use the ASWD keys instead of the arrow ones to hit the indicators. Regardless, I got a perfect score on this, despite the fact I really fumbled in the beginning. She has the sunworm symptom. I have no idea what this means. My guy wants to help, but Matty Boy refuses to let anyone go near her with unnatural drugs. Oh, I see what kind of fella this guy is. Just let me do my job, mate. The mayor and his wife literally called me here from the capital for a reason. The only unnatural thing I can find are flowers around the island, so nothing that he doesn't have access to himself when he takes a stroll outside. Naturally, he threatens me. Good stuff. Back at my cauldron, and I have the potion Moonbury that I need to concoct. I was about to throw the same stuff into the pot when I realized something. Oh, I can press Q and E and all that sort of stuff here. Okay, fair enough, so I can do anything here. Am I literally just going to toss whatever the hell this is into the pot? I'm pretty sure this is not going to make what I want. What the hell? I will later discover that in this mini game, I just have to fill in all the puzzle pieces with whatever ingredients I have, and I can make the potions I'm aiming for. I'm back at my clinic. I apply the potion to the patient, and voila, she is feeling better. Okay. So I believe that should fix you. Treatment is completed. Beautiful. Yay! Thank you. I can't wait to get back home to Papa. It's like an insta-kill. That was very quick, and everyone comes sauntering back in. Rue is feeling better. Everyone is happy. Matt is trying to swallow his pride, but he can't help himself to ask, what did I throw in the potion? But what exactly was in that bottle? I'll be completely honest, mate, I don't even know what I chucked in that bottle. I just hope for the best. All Mate is suspicious of my chemist-like prowess. I am as well, actually. But I'm the good guy here, and he's the villain, so it's no skin off my shoulder. Of course, he leaves in a huff, a feeling replaced by me. Just don't come to him looking for help. It's fine. Can you bugger off, mate? You are starting to bother me. Speaking of which, Maya will send a letter to the Medical Association about what transpired here. About my success, that is. For this job that took 3 days, I have been paid 150 gold, which is quite nice. As I'm about to leave Rue to sleep off whatever she had, I take it in that this clinic is really filthy. I mean, those are stains on the pillows, my goodness gracious. So I have cured the mayor's daughter. Do people like me now? No, judging by your reputation, you aren't worth my time. Goodness me, I've just been put in my place. Speaking of place, I see Maddie's place of residence, and no hard feelings, huh mate? Leave, you are blocking my view. Yep, what a prick. Anyways, I go ahead and pluck up everything I can from the mirror range, now that I know I can use all materials in my potions. This does include killing monsters, as they often have loot, like this bear claw, which I can also use. Oh, poor Benjamin is trembling by this point. I actually don't know how long it took me to figure out how to feed him. I do realize that natural materials, like wood from trees and stone from rocks, they will come in handy, but each one of them also has an ingredient I can use, such as saps and minerals. As luck would be on my side, I stumble across a fast travel banner. There's another one in front of my house, and one on the other side of town. Using these will save me a huge amount of time. I'm really glad I came across them this early in my playthrough. The next day, I'm called into Maya's office. Zhao picked me up, and those three stooges from the association are here as well. The gisters. They are surprised at my rapid treatment of Rue. The keyword being rapid there, it took me 3 days. So what's next? Maya states that whatever happened to Rue could happen to anyone else in the town. He says their knowledge on medicine, mainly Matt, let's be honest, is limited. To the point. He wants me to stay here, not only so that I can share my knowledge, but this would strengthen the bond again between Moonbury and the capital, specifically the medical association, as we've had bad dealings in the past or something. This newfound cooperation would be a stepping stone for both parties. Our association has been given authority to reside in Moonbury. Good stuff. As my gang members have sauntered off, Maya says one of my biggest hurdles will be getting the trust of the residents. Some of them are stubborn, as I've seen, but I'll befriend them in no time. My reputation goes up a bit, and as I roll out of the mayor's office, I see that once red icon is turned green, meaning people may be more cordial to me now, which they are. I go and meet several people today, some of which I've already spoken to, but hey, I needed to go say hi to 10 people for Meyer. And when I did, he finally tells me about the past here. Accidents have occurred, and chemists were responsible for them. The extent of the damages were extreme enough that some native fauna have disappeared. As a consequence, the town has banned chemists from the capital. Okay, fair enough. Right now, Allmate gives me an approval badge. This permits me to explore more of the island, to gather even more materials further abroad. There's even more badges ranked above this, so I have some pipeline goals to work towards. Right now, a new part of the game opens up. When I talk to someone from now on, I get several options, one of which is a speech bubble. Once spoken to, a little relationship bar fills up a bit, and I'm finally getting friendship points with these people I've spoken to for days now. That little tick on the icon also indicates I've chatted to this fella already today. I can give him a gift as well, but I don't know about this yet. But I do see some friendship bars are finally popping up for the villagers now. I go ahead and save some time by teleporting from my house to the entrance of the meadows. The fast travel becomes crucial as the game progresses. While I'm gathering up a storm, poor Benjamin looks at me with huge disapproval. I'm quite sure you, the viewer, are also shaking your head at this point. I find Forrest and this blonde girl, who I discover is called Bubbles. They're discussing this landslide that's blocking the path. Bubbles says that they were once able to venture through here looking for materials. I suggest clearing it up, but it's going to take materials, one of which is a net. It is suggested that I need to eavesdrop in the tavern to see if I can find out where I can procure one. Really? I mean, one would imagine I just talked to the local fishermen at the beach, but at said tavern, I find a tavern looking place, would you believe? A place for people to sleep upstairs, an arcade game room down below run by Helena. I go ahead and I play a random one, but for goodness sake, the game is really making me feel bad. I'm playing a game where I'm feeding Benjamin, but not my actual dog. I haven't found out what I'm doing here yet, but I discovered that when I whistle Ben with O, he approaches me, and at which point I can interact with him. I give him a quick pet, and then I feed him a mushroom, and I have finally figured out how to feed my dog. It's day 5 by the way. I also had to leave and come back before activating the cutscene about fixing the landslide. These three are speaking about how they use nets provided by the Primrose Sail, which is the fishing shop on the beach, but stocks are running low apparently. I quickly dash over there and I meet Liano and I ask her about those hard to get nets. They are that. She's out of stock, but Otmar here might have one. He makes them, apparently. He has one left, and he gives me a trading list. From the looks of this, I already have what he wants, and after I track him down again, I hand over the goods. He does then hand over this much desired net, and I wander back to the landslide, and when I interact with it, I see now that I need to provide 1500 gold, 225 wood and 175 stone as well. Yeah, that's going to be a lot. As I gather for it, you can see how much of each of those I have at the top right. I have some work to do, especially with the gold. I worked late into the night, and I thought I'd quickly see if Rue was still in the clinic, which she wasn't. Good news. It is 2 AM by the way. Oh crap. Okay, I think that was 2 o'clock. Yep, it was 2 a.m. and I slept till 12 p.m. the next day. That's what happens if you don't go to bed on time. It seems like Forrest had brought me to bed. He makes it sound like he had to traverse mountains and risk life and limb to get me home, despite the fact I had passed out pretty much in front of my house. But cheers for the pick-me-up, mate. He does leave me a gift of a roasted corn and how to make it. My first recipe, of course. This is also new. These two are tampering with my clinic. This is the result. Ooh, a pager. Yep, instead of running here like a pleb like I did last night, I will now hear the sound if I have a patient. Good stuff. I've got work to do. I need to gather materials for that landslide clearing project, as well as slicing up anything I see as well. I go ahead and feed Ben another mushroom. He seems to like them. And I wanted to work through the night, but sadly I just missed the opening hours of the bathhouse. There will be no full stamina rejuvenation for me, so I just chatted to some folks for the rest of the evening. I watched a few of them play their favorite arcade games. It's just a steady night. But more harvesting followed the next day. I get assailed by a big blue bear, who I introduced to my axe, of course. I also make sure to pet Ben every time I feed him a mushroom. It's not a great diet for a dog, but hey, it works for some reason. I also have a thought. Okay, so I need to go about trying to find money. So at the moment, this is all good, gathering resources, but I need to find out how I make money other than what I do. That's right, I made gold before curing Rue, but that's it, nothing more since then. Speaking of which, she's strutting around these days, so she's nice and healthy. I look after my own health with a bath, and then I discover the potions I make also have a selling price attached to them. Perhaps I can make and sell these. I then go ahead and make a random potion with a random assortment of ingredients. You literally make potions this way. It's just a puzzle game, with a limit of the amount of resources you can use. I go and look for a general store, because I wanted to sell this potion, but none of these names sound like a general store. I traveled for a short while, but I found no such destination to make use of, but I did achieve some casual flirting, of course. I have a squiz at my achievements, and I'm only going to mention the ones needed right now as I'm looking for money. I can work part-time at a few locations, it seems, one of which is the police department. In fact, I get a cutscene for this right now. Osmond wants some help tidying the place up. This involves me simply shuffling certain ink bottles left or right. It pretty much sums it up. This will take up 2 hours of my day. I sort 20 of them and I make 125 gold for my efforts. I wake up to this in the morning. Wonderful. Who is in need of my assistance today? Forrest and Bubbles have brought the patient in and tried to make them comfortable. They say I should treat them quickly, and if I can't, they will take them to Matty Boy. I see the young fella Russo is in my clinic this morning. He has a red 4 above his head, meaning I have 4 days to treat whatever ailment he has. My right upper arm feels weird. My right palm feels weird. I investigate the areas of complaint, and I can see that I can already diagnose he has lumps on his upper right arm, which requires a violet mist potion that I already have because I made one to try and sell. Scratch that, his palm also has the lumps, so 2 of the same potion are needed. I make the second one with completely different ingredients. Am I seriously gonna plop a stone in here? That's iron ore, for goodness sake. This is gonna start making me the thing that I want, is it? Okay, fair enough. Yep, to stress that point, any ingredient can be used so long as I complete the puzzle within the right amount of ingredients. Hey buddy, I've made you something using iron ore. It doesn't matter what I used, both potions do the trick, and the young fella is cured from the lumps. He's happy with the treatment. My reward is more trust with the people, 360 gold, and moon cloves. What are these? It's not time for that yet. Dev the postman is offering part-time work. I need to help him package up the goods so that he can deliver them in a timely fashion. I have 30 seconds to fold and package 7 different parcels. If I make a mistake, then I get a slight penalty to my time down there, but this is fairly easy to do. I get 125 gold for my efforts, and as I'm about to leave, the mayor and Zhao pull me aside. They introduce me to the notice board. Every Monday, a list of requests will pop up here that I can do for the villagers. fetch quests, cleanup quests and such, and they will offer me monetary compensation. To keep things clean, Augment will clear the entire thing each week, so a new batch will be available every Monday, regardless if I'm currently working on one, so better get them done beforehand or don't bother at all. Now someone wants 6 mushrooms for 250 gold and apple juice. Another one wants me to clear out several beehives for 300 gold and more juice. And the last one wants 6 white meat for 200 gold and more juice. People like rewarding work with apple juice here, it seems. I hand in the first one, the mushrooms, to this post box and I get my reward right away. I work towards another reward at the police department sorting ink bottles. I then have a random conversation with Osman here and I see that there's a gift option here. When I cured Russo before, he gave me one of those moon cloves. I don't know this yet, but those stones are the gifts people give in these areas. More on that soon, but you saw that it took the friendship way up. My gold supply is going up as well. I find the third part-time job offerer. Cecilia in the church here wants some help, which is to simply grind sacks of grapes by slapping one button. It's very easy, this one. I also make 125 gold, and I have found a decent way to make money. However, each one of these jobs takes up 2 hours, so in total 6 hours of my day was lost due to part-time work. I then managed to stumble into a cutscene with Liano and Reiner. I'm glad I got this, because Liano asks me about fishing. This conversation leads her to give me my first rod, which is nice. I've also been given a few worm baits, so I can do some fishing now, but not yet. I do some more resource harvesting for the rest of the night, with the interruption to provide this duo with the net, money and materials they needed to clear this landslide. I mean, I'd be taking the boulders away, but no, they secured the boulders to the cliff with the net. Okay, sure thing. New things await for me beyond, and it's recommended that I upgrade my tools as well. Right past the original blockage, I find a teleport banner, so it looks like these will be plentiful to help with that fast travel. I start to gather materials in this new area, and I can see what forest meant. These rocks take a huge amount of stamina to break down, but I think they provide a bit more yield. I come face to face with a few new creatures, this one being aggressive and attacking me. I hid behind the cliff face before taking him on. Some new animals like this sandshrew here have to be attacked with a certain weapon, the hammer in this case, to break down his initial defense, knocking him prone and then inflicting maximum damage while he's vulnerable. I also harvest some corn here, so maybe when I fix up my kitchen, I can grill up some corn because Forrest taught me that recipe before. I meet Martha when the sun rises. She has stopped by to give me some moon cloves. I'm confused as to what they are, but this is the tradition in Moonbury. The people here give these to others as a sign of friendship. Villagers love receiving these gifts. I got one for curing Russo yesterday, and I unknowingly gave it to Osman, reaping the rewards without knowing what's going on. Villager friendships come in thresholds, and once I reach the first threshold, I'll elaborate more. For now, I go work with some inks, pack some boxes, become jovial that I found another fast travel option in the middle of the town, but gutted to see that on Wednesday, the church is closed, so no grape grinding for me on this day. I then decide to go strike up a conversation with Helena and make my first proper gift of a moonclove to her, maybe because she called me a sweetheart once upon a time, and this first threshold is nearly maxed out. Honestly, me looking back at this now, I should have given it to Martha. She went out of her way to teach me their tradition, so this makes sense to me. I see I have an ongoing quest now to befriend 3 people, and at this rate it is gonna take a while. Well, that is for the future. This is for the present. I stumble across Forest and Old Maid Dickhead here in this section, where there is a few unhealthy looking plants. It seems there are bugs currently eating up these fauna. As soon as I rock up, the unwanted fella buggers off and I can talk to Forest, who again says that we need to do something about these bugs if we're to help these plants. I take one of these offending specimens and I should go ask around for some information. While I'm having a scuffle with this big boy bear, I see another parchment there. It's page 3 of the previous chemist's journal. I'm gonna paraphrase again. He says that there are some leaks and cracks in the ground where they're experimenting on. Some vegetation is also starting to disappear. The machine has recorded a few negative outcomes from their experiment, and the mayor has been displeased. He has tried to calm him down, while also making a report to the capital as quickly as he can. Afterwards, I explore north and I walk into a colder region. A broken cable cart is here. These two, as per usual, rock up and say they used to be able to travel further, until this broke down. Not only will I need the resources, but I will also require a higher ranking badge to continue on. Fair enough, I do have some work left in the previous area. I trek through the previous zone all the way to the other side, but I come across what looks like radioactive slime. What am I doing in this restrictive area? Well, there was no sign, obviously. Apparently this area has looked like this for quite a long time, before Forrest's time. He directs me to speak to Meyer, as he will know more about it. Okay then. I find another message in a bottle, page 4 of the previous fellow's journal. The side effects of the potion are out of control. We are trying our best to suppress them. The machine is not working anymore, and some spots are covered in a residue from a chemical we believe is harmful. Although the chemists are trying to fix this, they also have to contend with angry villagers. A lot of info to take in at this moment. Here's some more. I run further down and come across a desert looking area. Although Forest and Bubbles don't show up this time, it looks like it's the area after the frozen area, as I need the 3rd approval badge. Okay, well, I've explored quite a lot today. Yawn's ankle is feeling weird on the morning of day 10. Well, these people really have no idea. All he has is some bruises. A wound cleanser will suffice. I go ahead and brew up that particular concoction, and I treat it old mate's boo-boo. I get some money, moon clothes, and reputation. That clove I gave to Martha today, and she's nearly there. Afterwards, I do whatever part-time work I can this day. I go visit the blacksmith to ask about tool upgrades. I see her office here. A lot of gold and a lot of wood and stone. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of grinding, it seems. These prices and materials are not cheap. I do see that I can also upgrade my health and cauldron levels. Really good stuff. I had to look up how to sell potions, and I found out that I needed to repair my post box, and I can toss the potions in there to sell. I then looked at my quest log for those bug-eating plants, and it directed me to this fine-looking fellow who hides in a graveyard. He's called Victor. These are an endangered species of bugs. They're called frost mites. He's surprised that they're on the island, actually. Perhaps a harmless bug repellent to keep the bugs alive, but also to deter them from the fauna would be best. He does have a bit of this, but maybe I can make something similar. For this, I approach my research desk. This is me researching. I uncover the question marks, rotate through the elements until I hear a success ding. I do this several times, then voila, I'm done. This unlocks the recipe for me, and I have a complicated potion to make. I eventually conclude that I can't make this with what I have, so I go ahead and make sure to harvest up everything I can in this new area, using inferior tools for the job, but it gets the task done regardless. When I return late this night, I have found the right jigsaw pieces to complete this potion. It was too late to go back this night, but I did have some time to clean up those beehives, which got me a little bit of extra money. Speaking of money, I wake up and see Colin from the association has fixed up my postbox for me, which is very nice of him. If I make too many potions, I can drop them in here. Their courier pigeon will collect them at 5 PM sharp every day, so if there's anything I want to sell, have it ready by then. The association can bulk buy any potions I make. I have a look, and it seems like I can sell 6 a day at this moment. Perhaps I can have this space upgraded here later. For now, Dean here feels weird. Apparently his left palm and right foot are itchy. My cauldron is brought to a boil, and I scratch old mate's limbs. I am rewarded. I then go and replenish my stocks. I catch Maya and old boy Osman here having a chat at the local river. Apparently some slimy residue has been building up here over time. I am asked to investigate. I think about said problem while I squish some grapes, and then I try to relax with a bit of fishing. I hook a fish, but right now I don't grasp this minigame just yet. I lose the fish, and I'll touch on this again later, especially when I fail 3 times and I lose all of my bait. Now I didn't forget about those bugs. Once I repelled them, miraculously a new type of flower starts to bloom. Forrest rocks up of course, and he thanks me for restoring some of their fauna. Another quick moonclove thing to Helena here, and she has reached her first threshold, and more on this soon. But I also just speak to Martha, and she has reached the same milestone. I'm quite happy about this. I then go ahead and research that slime on the river shenanigans, and I conclude that I need to make the slime kisser, which I can barely do, which is good news for me, but I'm gonna have to go see the mayor about this tomorrow. I start day 12 by looking at my achievements, and I see that with all those part-time jobs, I need to do them 15 times each, which is fine. It's stretch goals. Cecilia the nun is sick today. Nothing too dramatic, and itchy foot again, but as I make these potions, I see that if I make them several times, I could save the recipe. I've made this neutralizing balm 5 times, and I get the choice to save the current recipe used to make it. So in the future, if I find an effective way to use less resources to make this potion, I could maybe bulk make them for money. I pop one in to sell this day, and at this stage, I'm compelled to say one thing about this game which I found a little bit too repetitive. The resource gathering was intense, and to get anywhere with it, you simply had to grind it out. Chopping, smashing, and slicing the same materials every day. This is particularly rough as I'll reveal some achievements when they become more apparent. For now, I help the police department, and Osmond appreciates my hard work. The department has never been tidier. All I do is sort ink bottles, but yeah, sure. I also had to hand the slime kisser to him apparently. Once there was slime. 5 seconds later and it is all but evaporated. It's nice to get some recognition for my hard work. Some of that hard work can be seen in Maya's collection room. The flower just below us was saved by me by repelling those bugs. The giant moon rock was found on the island when their ancestors arrived there, hence the name Moonbury. He then takes me to his residence to discuss upgrading my permit so that I could potentially fix up their cable cut in the mountains. He would like to see a letter of recommendation from the medical association first, which sounds fair. I then had to find him again. The cutscenes teleport me, but not the NPCs by the way. I ask about the purple slime accident in the Meadowlands. Apparently this happened decades ago. An accident caused by a chemist from the capital. Finally, one of the accidents I've been blamed for. Residents back then made a deal with chemists. They conducted some experiments and accidents happened, leaving the area damaged. A native plant went extinct as a result. Nobody has been able to fix the mess since then, as all chemists have been banned. Maya says that he has a fragment of that diary I've been finding. It is the final missing page. Dr. Samuel, as that was Old Boy's name. He had figured out a way to reverse the damage caused by the experiment. However, he and the rest of his team had to leave. They were chased off before applying the antidote. He has left a recipe for anyone who can understand his notes and hopes that they can make the remedy to restore the vegetation. Okay, I guess that will be me then. The iris vial needs to be brewed up. Goodness me, that's a lot of blank puzzle pieces. But after a short while, I was just able to make this with what I had. I'm gonna have to pick this up tomorrow. Right now, I see an exclamation mark on the notice board. It says that it's Helena's Story 1, but the actual message is between Osmond to Dean, telling him to lock up properly on his patrol. I'm also given a time frame when this event can trigger. Okay then. The next one is Martha's Story 1, and she says she's made cookies, which she will give away for free. I'm not going to mention coming to this board again to locate people's friendship cutscenes, because that's what these are. I reached the maximum threshold with both these ladies before, and this is the next step. I go and activate Helena's one. Derek is talking to Dean. Both of these fellas are the policemen by the way. Helena is over there for some reason. She then chats up Dean, who seems a bit of a clumsy oaf, who says more than he should. Like how he's supposed to lock up buildings because there might be a precious moonstone rock in the mayor's office, which particularly grabs Helena's attention. I'm getting a bad vibe off this girl, sweet talking this idiot. I go and find her later. She pretends to read my future, but she makes a remark that she saw me spying on her chatting with Dean. She assures me she's no jewelry thief, merely curious about artifacts. Now, that was a lot of info to take in, but that pretty much sums up one resident's first story. To extend their friendship, there is a few tiers. I'm in fact going to gloss over the majority of them, sum them up as quickly as I can, or ignore them. The game focuses a lot on these cutscenes, and it's great, but the video will be very long if I cover them all to the full extent. On day 13, I take Forrest and Maya out to that accident area. I sprinkle my potion and voila, just like that it is all magically cured. Moments later, new fauna spring up as well. I believe this would be the extinct plants that vanished way back when. The fellas are in awe of course. Literally Maya, you had the answer in your drawer for years. But sure, a chemist problem can only be solved by another chemist. I like that. In days gone by, those fellas were chased off too soon maybe. Forrest, who once talked really rudely to me, simply says, I believe in Artemis. That is a huge boon to my confidence. I harvest up those new plants, and they do take a bit of work. They're called rainbow dews. As gathering is becoming hard, I upgrade my first tool, my hammer. It is for rocks, of course. So is the axe for wood, but the hammer, I have to use that to kill certain enemies, so it made sense to do this one first. I finally get round to buying some bait from Liano. I then do this cutscene for Martha. She baked some cookies, but unfortunately used the wrong ingredients in the recipe. They tasted terrible, and I was the only one who was honest with her. She asks me that if she tried again, would I still be willing to try them? And I said, yeah, sure. Afterwards, I can now progress our friendship more. I give fishing another go. I cast my line, reel in the fish, and when he gets angry, I have to stop. When he gets tired, I reel him in again. It takes a short while, but I do reel in my catch, which is a sardine, beauty mate. And this is also the white meat I've been looking for one of those quests. I fished for a while, and looks like there's a fishing level that also increases. This is going to take a bit, but I caught 6 fish to complete this quest I mentioned. I try my new hammer, and it is significantly quicker to break down these boulders. These armored beetles that gave me grief before are now a walk in the park, and before the day is done, I get as much socializing in as I can. And apparently in the morning, that effort comes to me. Colin and Zhao pay me a visit. Colin is here on behalf of the association. They're pleased with my work here, and they want to put me up for promotion. To get promoted, I need to take a chemistry test. My fella studies the paper well. When I complete this test, I'll get a license to produce a more powerful potion. So I do some research. I brew up a potion, and I gather even more resources. Funny enough, I actually come across another journal scrap from the chemists, the ones that were experimenting in the Meadow Range. They originally did add chemicals to the soil to observe the effects. Their machine was picking up minor anomalies at that time, but nothing to worry about, which is probably before things went bad, and we know the rest. A little bit later, I meet up with these guys again to deliver the potion I have concocted. They are surprised at the ingredients I used, and to my delight, Nestor here says I have passed the first test. This does result in a new license, however, no letter of recommendation yet. Well, I then go reel in some catches, upgrade my axe shortly later, and just like with my hammer upgrade, it significantly makes it easier to harvest wood. With the sun rising, Colin gives me another visit. He's here on behalf of Dr. Nestor, who has granted me a letter of recommendation, which is what I needed to present to Meyer. I then find Osmond outside frolicking with Benny Boy. He mentions that the more time I spend with Ben, the smarter he will become. This may have been an odd piece of dialogue from that character, but it does have a purpose, which I'll need to pursue. A first order of business. I upgrade my sickle next, and that's all of my first tier upgrades for my tools done. I also make my way to Meyer, and I present with him the letter of recommendation. He gives me the approval badge too, which means I can explore further abroad now. Benny Boy is finally hungry this day, and following Osmond's advice, although I was already doing this, I give him a good pet every time I feed him to get his friendship up. He's about halfway through his first tier. Remember these flowers that regrew because I thwarted those bugs? I only now just realized that they were flowers, so I go ahead and collect some. I've been gathering a lot today actually. As a result, my stamina is low. It's too late to go for a bath, and I resort to eating or drinking something for the first time. This apple juice, which I get from quests, gives me the pickup that I need. That was required because I had to venture all the way north again to tell these two I have the correct badge now. So this machine has been out of action for quite a bit, and when it was last up and running, it was always breaking down and being repaired frequently. I guess they gave up at some point. I suggest asking Opalheart, who is the town blacksmith, to have a proper look at it. Although she is the one who's made all the repairs in the past already, I've been informed. It may be a bad time. She's clocked off and enjoying a game in the arcade. But we do go back to her place, and Opal is surprised. Fixing the cable cart again? It's not that they don't want to, but maybe getting someone to have a look at the actual blueprints might be a good idea. Maybe look at the farm lad. Apparently the fella has a keen mind for mechanical things. I catch the chap quite literally as he was heading to bed. He has a quick look over it, and he thinks the blueprints for the cable cart and the wheels don't match. He will need to spend some time with it though. A time which was maybe minutes? I get a cutscene right after, and he has cooked something up. He hopes that Opalheart can understand his instructions though. I see poor Martha in the clinic the next day, and she has got 3 ailments. In one minigame, I had to dodge the germs to diagnose her, and in another, I had to memorize the movements of this joystick. There's 3 little minigames in this diagnosis event. I'm about to make 3 potions for her when I get a knock at my door. Meyer is here, and he mentions that he has taken note on how I've been befriending the people of the town. He has something to show me. As I'm befriending the townsfolk, over time the village will receive improvement. Today, he's got the homeless man Zeke and Martha, who's currently on her deathbed, cleaning up my front yard. What a standout mayor. I feel like I should make a 4th potion for Martha that treats neglect right now. But she's fine. More reputation, and she paid me 630 gold for those potions. Those are some big numbers. Opalheart can make what Luque has designed, but she's gonna need some materials, which I go and collect afterwards. Among other things, of course. If this design is correct, then this cable cart should be good forever now. But from the looks of this, I have some grinding to do. The resources are fine, but 2,250 gold is quite a bit. One way I make money is by brewing up some potions and getting paid from sick clients. Today, Cassandra paid me 540. I discovered that with my current tools and energy level, I was able to harvest half of the Meadowlands. My plan next was to go to the bathhouse and rejuvenate, although it's Thursday, so no bath for me today. So I spend the majority of the day socializing with as many people as I can. A side note, all the characters have a stationary movement. Like, no one is ever still, but I have to say Liano here has a hell of a swagger. I gave her a stone thing as I was mesmerized and I got her to the first tier. I check out Old Boy Yawn's stock. Maybe he's got some better food available for my stamina problems. That grilled tenderloin down there looks pretty tasty. The next day was more of the same, to be honest, but I was really starting to wonder, how can I make some more money efficiently? Is there an acceptable food source I can buy that allows me to harvest much more in a day for selling potions in the future that would balance buying food and making a profit? One thing I started doing though was that if I could lure a monster close to a resource node, the sandshrew to a rock for example, I could get them both at the same time. In terms of food, I decided to spend 50 gold and get one of those grilled tenderloins from Old Boy here, followed with conversation, which gets him to his first cutscene tier. You know, I have been speaking to Forrest on and off for about 18 days, even had several cutscenes with him. But guess what? That's definitely not the first time I've met you, mate. Is that seriously? Oh wow, that's the first time I've actually spoken to him, apparently. I don't believe that. While I was in disbelief, I looked at all my potions and I tried to find out which one would be simple to bulk make. I chopped down 2 trees on day 19. I tried to do this as much as I could as well, and I finally scoffed down what is now a cold tenderloin. I regained maybe a third of my stamina with this. Going to the bathhouse is a full replenishment, so maybe a routine where I eat 1 tenderloin per day and take a bath would be the best. And yes, Nova there has got bath towels on her head for some reason. I practiced my chemist skills, and I can definitely make this neutralizing balm with 3 ingredients, so I decided to make this one in bulk. I haven't had any clinic clients for a day or 2, so I needed to investigate this to make some extra cash. But Opal Heart is in my clinic the next morning to help me remedy this financial status. Afterwards, I tossed these 2 potions I made into my post box. That pigeon won't pick them up until 5 PM, but I will make 280 gold. And as the day hits 5 PM, I do make that extra bit on the side. I returned to the cable car with all the resources and funds in hand and passed on the job to these 2. 5 seconds later, the cart has been fixed and I take the shortest ride on this thing. But guess what? There's a teleport banner on the opposite side. I am happy because that means I can always teleport here, saving heaps of time, but I'm also annoyed because that means I will literally never use this expensive cable cart again. Oh well, I'll start exploring tomorrow, because I do have some things I want to check out before moving there. I want to make a quick note here, that there are currently 7 people on this list that have their cutscenes ready to unlock their next tier of friendship. I need to read these carefully, and I need to go to the specific areas to witness these cutscenes. It's a little overwhelming and it all goes over my head. I run into a lot of these by accident, actually. On another note, Marielle wanted to see me and asked me whether or not I've seen any coal blooms out in the field. The name is a complete giveaway, and I know that I'll be finding them in the mountains up north. I then comment on the residents' punctuality for their jobs. Well, these people were at least punctual for their job. I remember them in Dinkum. Goodness gracious me, they were terrible. Yep, I played 200 days of Dinkum, and I recalled that the townsfolk there were atrociously late for their own jobs, all the time. I have a squiz at the next tier blacksmith upgrades, and I take note of the resource requirements and the gold needed. However, editing me would also like to point out the obvious text there saying a blacksmith upgrade is needed as well. I go visit Rana next, because you can make upgrades to my house, but when I look at them, I'm taken aback at the cost of these. They're not cheap, and at the time, I concluded that upgrades to my tools, which will help me gather more resources faster, will have to come first. I'm doing that in the north, as well as exploring. All these new resource nodes, although I get more materials, they are also again difficult to harvest, so it further proves my point on my tools. I find a humanoid wolf with basic combat equipment. I need to break his defense with my axe here before I can do damage to him. A bit further on, I find a very dead looking flower. Bubbles pops in, from nowhere of course. She says that it's the cold bloom, speak of the devil, but because of the extreme cold, we're seeing less of them. Perhaps I can throw science glance at this problem and bring them back. Way back when, there was another chemist here. His name was Lewis. I'm gonna paraphrase, but the fellow was here with his team doing research. They state that although it's very cold here, there are some flowers that prefer this. However, the mayor at the time said that there were fewer flowers around these days, which we just heard from Bubbles as well. There are also these strange spikes of ice that do not melt. They are just always cold, he reports. A new area does feature new flowers and monsters. This is a plant type thing that spits bombs at me. Good stuff. This is a mole that throws dirt at me. I go ahead and fight off 2 wolves, and in terms of fauna, I do find orchids here. I find a fishing spot in a cave, followed with more from the previous chemist. They were having some troubles, but he was grateful that he had a friend from town, Oswald, who was the police officer back then, and was in charge of the surveillance to make the project run smoother. They have become friends, and both wished for less illness and loss in the world. I then find another fast travel banner far in the north, and beyond that, I find what would have been the area the chemists were experimenting at. It looks gassy. Bubbles comes in again and mentions that with this accident, there were casualties as well as the usual loss of certain fauna. I can ask Osman, as Oswald was his father and he led the rescue operation. It is text heavy here, I'm sorry, but I do find all the information about this accident right now. Lewis writes that after a week of digging, they have found a very rare substance. It keeps the ice spikes strong, but it's not good for the fauna in the area. It's why some flowers are decreasing in numbers. Perhaps if they can remove this substance, it would improve the vegetation here and get rid of these pesky ice spikes. However, there is a big snowstorm coming in, and even rumors of a potential avalanche as well. I woke up the next day and I had to speak to Luke about perhaps enhancing the soil for those dead cool blooms, but I also had to speak to Osman to ask him about his pappy and what he knows about the accident in the mountains. Money is also a thing. I have a recipe saved now, so I brew up 3 potions simultaneously, which saves me a bunch of time. 420 will be coming my way at 5 PM. Before going to find those 2 aforementioned lads, I do my usual grind, and something that's related but I won't elaborate on just yet. Benny Boy is nearly at his first tier now, so I go ahead looking for Luke. I find his dad whinging about maggots in the feeding troughs and he asks me to help him. Back to looking for Luke. Right now I'm wasting a lot of time looking for people. Indeed, I spend quite a bit of time looking for both Luke and Osman. No luck with the farm boy, but I do find Osman, finally. At first, he's taken aback a bit when I ask him about the accident. Who told me? Well, I read it in various note fragments, mate. And it turns out he might have a fragment of that diary. I was missing part of that story. Unfortunately, it's in this cabinet, and it's shut with a missing key. Of course it is. He permits me to try and open it, however I can. I go ahead and do some research for that maggot repellent for Luke's dad. I've no idea what his name is. I'll ask him later. For now, I can't actually make that potion for the maggot problem. I have to upgrade my cauldron first. I take some time to myself, and I eavesdrop on a cutscene from Runard and Reiner. She's angry because she's had a fight with her mum. She feels like she's always being compared to her. Speaking of which, she is the one that needs to fix up my cauldron. Also, that unlocked her next tier of friendship. I ran into this by accident. Day 23 is going to be a big one, so here goes. I worked up a storm, grabbed a bunch of notice board requests, of which I could complete several right away. My daily grind pays off when I already have what I need. I then delivered a package to Yorn from the postal office, which turned out to be his cutscene. I get an achievement, and his next tier is unlocked now. I needed to talk to Reiner to get access to the cabinet for Osman. However, he also wants materials for his place of work to upgrade it so that he can make better furniture. As a result, I now have 2 huge fetch quests for him, which is gonna take some time. I then go cleaning up the beach for a notice board quest, and this will also become a request soon enough. Much like Reiner, the gals in the smithy are being honest about their workspace and their tools. A long story short, I also need to provide them with what they need, and then I'll be able to upgrade my tools further, which is what I hinted at before. I currently only realized this right now, which is fine. If I can't upgrade my tools, which is what I was aiming for, I'll go ahead and get the health and cauldron upgrades, and as a result, everything is at the same level now. Now, after 2 days of searching, I finally find the elusive Luke. He does prove to be somewhat of a renaissance man, which is someone who has talents and knowledge in many areas. He passes on his own fertilizers, but there may not be enough, and I might need to make some adjustments so it's more appropriate for cold weather. I go and have a quick fish before researching Luke's fertilizers, and with my upgraded cauldron, I was able to make that maggot removal thing, followed with making the liquid fertilizers. They were both big potions, and it did take a little bit of time. In the morning, I started gathering materials I needed for all those shop upgrades. I chop this tree, slice up this wolf, cut up this wolfman, and quarter up this mole all at the same time. Efficiency is my middle name. The wheelchair man's name is Garrett, by the way, and I give him this maggot removal potion. And today I give Ben a pat, which makes him reach his maximum friendship level, and I get an achievement for this. This also unlocks an ability, which I'll see soon. For now, I go and sprinkle that liquid fertilizer on this dead earth, and a few moments later the core blooms have sprung up again. I pluck one for Marielle, as she wanted it, and I've restored another one of those extinct flowers, so I can expect Maya will add this to his little museum room in his office. I can see from this quest log that a lot of materials I'm looking for those upgrades are in the cold area, and as I have a chat to the mayor later, I talk about the friendship mechanic in this game. I actually kind of like the relationship building thing in this one in particular. It's very easy to see where you're up to, and everyone just likes the same gift, which is kind of, I mean, it's actually a lazy design, but it's well covered because it's saying, you know, this is their culture, this is how they express their friendship, and it's the same thing you can give to everyone, and it just makes it simplistic. Instead of saying, all mate needs a flower, or Betty needs X thing, or, you know, this human needs this kind of thing, you know, it simplifies the entire process, I feel. Victor is in front of my house the next morning. He says Benjamin has dug up something he's not supposed to. Apparently Victor here hides chests outside of my house, and he's upset that my dog has dug it up. Weird. But this is how the game introduces me to the fact that Benny Boy can dig stuff up now. It's because he's now his maximum friendship with me. I snap this resident's ankle back into place, which turns out it only had blisters, so maybe a bit vigorous on my behalf? Which is also a good time to mention these neglectful achievements. How am I going to be doing this? Being a donut. Failed to cure 10 patients. I think at some point I just have to completely neglect everyone and be the chemist they all thought I originally was. We'll see how we go with that. I won't be that chemist yet, so I head into the mountains to gather what I need. I then have a bath again. I'm not going to mention it anymore because on this occasion, I get the achievement that I bathe 10 times. Now, although Ben's at maximum friendship, I still need to feed him every day and also pet him because there is an achievement for that as well. I go ahead and I passed on all the resources to the Gauss and the smithy and they're good to go. I decide to upgrade my sickle first. I had more than enough wood and stone, but I wanted to gather herbs quicker to make more money for the rest of those upgrades. I gathered the materials prior to Reiner checking this cabinet, but that's okay, he'll be able to make this key with what I've already collected. I then go ahead and enjoy some literature. I kind of enjoy the fact that you can have a look here at these story things and you say, okay, cool, what to do. But here, this one. To my sweetheart. My sweetie pie, I miss you already. We should carry on where we left off. I'll be waiting for you in my room. P.S. Not you, Dean. Please stop coming. Goodness gracious me. Afterwards, I'm forced to find Reiner again. Remember, the cutscenes teleport me, but not the other NPC, and I give him what he needed to upgrade the furniture store. He's on my doorstep again on the morrow, giving me the key I needed for the cabinet. I can't do it myself, I need to find Osman. He's obviously not here. Okay, where's Osman gonna be, huh? That sigh of frustration will be remedied soon enough, but today I spent 3 hours just to find him in his office anyways. However, he does pass on the documents from his father, but he opens up to me as well, saying that the accident that happened back then was a human catastrophe, that his dad rescued as many people as he could, but he couldn't find his best friend at that time. Lewis, that... He couldn't find Mayor Lewis, could he? That was his best friend's name. Oh dear. Is it? Honestly, mate, I know where Lewis went. He went to another valley, and he became a mayor there. And he made a golden statue of himself. Classic Lewis. Pretending to be a chemist and then becoming the mayor of Stardew Valley. Yeah, okay, back to the actual note here. The chemists found a way to cleanse this weird substance from the soil, the one that was preventing the flowers from growing. But extreme weather was a worry though, and there could be an avalanche, which is actually what eventuated. The disaster struck before they could finish their work. It is passed on to me. My next goal is to make this potion with the fragments I have found. Right now it looks like I can't make this potion. I may need to upgrade my cauldron again, which may be costly. Something else expensive. I see that Reiner can also fix up my planter boxes next to my cauldron, but that's going to cost me over 3,000, which is huge. Luckily, I went back to that potion I needed to make. I spent more time on it and I actually figured it out and I was really happy about it. I managed to catch Osmond just before midnight, poor timing on my behalf, because we head over there straight away. I apply the white breeze and the land heals from that strange substance. A job well done, and some new plants are starting to grow. Osmond wants to take one home to remember his father and his best friend Lewis, who were trying to save these flowers, but unfortunately a natural disaster thwarted that idea. Zhao and Moira pay me a visit on the morning of day 28. Moira specifically has been sent to let me know that I'm doing well and that the association are watching my progression with interest. It is time to upgrade my license again. Same as last time, I have already been registered for the test, which will begin shortly. Goodness me, thrown into the deep end here. Yes, Moira, this is very sudden. And no need to gloat about your own achievements. It's not about you, it's about my research technique. And before making this potion, I wanted to help my patient in the clinic, but I run into these two. A long story short here, Reiner has an injury. Runart wants me to check up on him, but he doesn't trust me? Yeah, which prompts me to say this. Reiner, I helped you completely fix your cabinet and stuff. Don't be a prick. Yeah, you speak to him, Runart. I'll just lean in real close, mate. Oh, I can smell the fear. My left shoulder feels weird. I wonder why it feels weird, mate. After I do a check on him and some honest responses, the old fella has done his shoulder in during work. He's not gonna take it easy, so his shoulder will continue to worsen over time. Despite his protest, I will make him something to help his pain. Anyways, I roll into my clinic to help Rue, and funny enough, I have rolled 1,000 times. It took 27 days and it's day 28 right now, meaning I rolled about 36 or 37 times per day. I am quite the athlete. That was also really unnecessary. What is needed is this heat paste for Reiner, and I make this draconic temper for the association test. It took some time, I was just able to do this one. It is Monday, so I pick up every single quest I can from this notice board, and before I forget, I handed in my test to these two. After a quick inspection, I'm informed that I have passed the test. The new license is mine, and I also find that these coppers prove to be quite inadequate. They have all these boxes to move, but no backbone it seems. Luckily, I can make them a strength potion. I can also hand in the majority of these fetch quests. The amount of grinding I do really does pay off, especially with making potions quickly for these weak coppers. They can struggle for a few moments longer. I give Reiner his heat paste for his shoulder, and I do tell him to take it easy. It turns out that was his friendship cutscene thing. Looks like these threshold things can be full-on quests as well. The lads, or one lad moved all these boxes because apparently the potion was enough for one person. Dean watched the entire time, but hey, the job is done. Since I've upgraded my license, new potions have become available to me. I had a long hard look at which one I could possibly mass produce. I was whining about money before, and seeing as I grind out so many resources, why am I not making use of them properly? Here's my outcome. That's actually very easy, so yeah, that's easy, that's easy, that's easy, and that's easy. Boom. Okay, so the Vision Ward. So the Vision Ward is the least profitable potion that was unlocked to me, but it's super easy to make. I can get all these particular resources quite easily, and for 320, I reckon it's worth it. I brew it up several more times until I unlock the recipe, and when I do, I save it before the night is done. I sell most of them, and all the other potions I tried as well. That's almost 2,000 gold right there. So with the new license comes a new letter of recommendation. I imagine I'll need this to get to the desert area down south. I just have to go and show the mayor. Speaking of which, he's in my clinic this morning and he pays me 600 gold for my treatment of him. I explore the recipe tab I have for this vision board, and here you can easily see how many of each resource I have for the potion. I can make at least 20 of them, and I go and get more so I can keep this train moving. The money train, I mean. I do in fact have enough to get all of my tool upgrades now. I can also harvest these specimens now, and they're called Yggdrasils. I mentioned I unlocked the recipe before. What that means is it's saved, and instead of painfully making the thing one by one, I can say that recipe and make it 3 times. It's a great time saver. I can only sell 6 at a time, but that's just under 2,000 gold again. I finally find some footage on day 30 as I was doing my thing. Benny Boy is back there digging up some random bits and pieces, often ingredients I can use in my cooking. cooking, and on this occasion, he found me 2 pieces of ginger. Speaking of cooking, I'm making a lot of potions as I want to afford these upgrades in my house, like this kitchen and these planter boxes next to my cauldron. I'm giving Benny Boy a pat in the morning when I see something for the first time. Or it's been there the whole time, I don't actually know. He is capable of tracking down NPCs. Remember when I whined about looking for people? Well, when I use it, I will elaborate more. For now, Otmar has 3 things wrong with him. Well, he had 3 things wrong with him. 3 potions and I get 630 gold. At this point, I started to wonder, was I getting what my potions are actually worth? Like, I would expect I'd treat someone for the value of the potion required and then a bit on top for the treatment and my efforts. I was yet to crunch some numbers. I remembered seeing that I could maybe get the clinic renovated. I mean, look at this thing. That's a clinic. My clinic. Funny enough, I improved my supply line first. And after a tick, old boy here, while making sure not to wreck his shoulder again, fixes my planter boxes. I'm really keen to use these. Bubbles pops in and says I'll obviously need seeds to make use of these. I need to collect X amount of each herb before the seeds become available, and Bubbles will keep track of that for me, which is very nice. Once I've provided her with enough samples, I guess, she will be able to plant them here and pass the seeds on to me. Back to Reiner's shop. Clinic renovations. I also see that if I do this, I get new recipes and it increases my income, which sounds good to me. I wasn't sure about Otmar's payment before, but forget that, I'll be able to get more apparently. This is a before and an after. I fixed most of it. Now any patients who will be staying for a while will be more comfortable. He's fixed most of it. On it, I have to look at the before and after picture there. It's renovation 1, okay, well there you go. Renovation 2, okay, fair enough. I'm also sure that Reno did the inside. The outside hardly changed, so I went inside again and currently didn't see anything new. Here's how it looked this morning with the power of editing. So yes, he actually did do the inside. Mostly the walls and the windows. I also see today that the rangers have their own shop and they sell herbs from each area, but I'll be honest, I don't think I used their shop once. Mercy is in my newly upgraded clinic and she needs a Thunder Kiss. The potion itself can be sold for 350 gold and she pays me 420 for the treatment, so 70 gold for my efforts. I need Benny Boy to put in the effort and find the homeless man Zeke for me. Ben's got the stench of a man that hasn't bathed in a week on his snozzer and he's locked in. He's fishing. Should push him in so he can get that bath because Ben was able to smell him a mile away. But in truth, I had to give him snowberries. He wanted to give them to his cat. He makes a salad. He gives me one, some stones and a recipe to make it. Thanks, mate. I see old Reiner mate getting mocked for his projects lately. Not the quality, but because they're outdated or something. I didn't even partake in that conversation, but apparently I need to speak to Bubbles about how Reiner got called out. I wanted to make more profit from my clinic, so Reiner is on the job. The roof looks improved this time. There is one more level to go. I also take note of all the furniture Old Boy sells, and that they take minimal wood and stone. The main thing will be money. Alright then. I watch Liano's cutscene thing, and I try not to get motion sickness from watching her sway. She used to be a pirate, so a bad case of, I don't know, land sickness? You know when you've been on a boat for a while and you come back ashore and you can't stop swaying? To the point. I need to impress her with my fishing skills, so she will be obliged to tell me a story about her pirate life. She needs me to catch 20 fish that have white meat. Sometimes it's pink or blue later on. That is a huge amount of fishing. Fishing is, it's a bit long-winded in this game. I'm excited that Yorn is in my level 2 clinic the next day. 2 problems, you beauty mate. One potion is worth 150, and the other is 215, meaning 365 gold worth of potion value here. He pays me 450. So for my services, I got 85 extra. In-game me was a little disappointed. I had paid thousands for clinic upgrades, so I was hoping for a bigger profit jump than this. Editing me is going to tally a few more, because I can. Just so you remember, with the first level clinic, Mercy paid me 70 gold on top. The final clinic upgrade will cost me 5,000 big ones, and when I do that one, I'm also going to pay attention. I do get my kitchen upgrade this day, and with it I unlock a few recipes by doing it. This is my new kitchen by the way, and I have a few meals I can already cook. I'll be trying to get all of these for my 100%, though it's not tied to any achievements. For now, I go ahead and roast up some corns, because I could. Oh, that is so funny. Cook food 5 times. Okay, there you go. I've done that. That's beautiful, mate. I then go and speak to Bubbles about Reiner's problem. It was a stock problem, but guess who's obliged to go and get the stuff and things? Well, I am about to head out, and I go ahead and check this notice board thing for Bubbles and the seeds that she can give me. I need to collect 5 more of those dew plants and cognac to unlock the seeds, and I need to regather everything else before putting them on the radar, it seems. So naturally, I go and do this. As I'm working up a storm, I eat some roasted corn cobs to sate my hunger. Really? Only that much? Alright, fair enough. And before turning in for the night, I was able to add most of these herbs to this list. Goodness me, some of them requiring me to gather 8 specimens, which is a few days worth of harvesting. I conquered 2 bears on the morning of day 34, but enough of that. I decided to do some people things today, possibly illegal things with Helena. She has secretly gotten documents from Dean, being herself I guess, and she found something interesting. This document is classified. God damn, what am I getting myself into? There's a special artifact called Moonstone located somewhere on this island, specifically in the barren Wasteland. I'll be heading there shortly anyways. She sweet talks me into it. My guy obviously simps, so fine, I guess so. At this point, I was really put off by Helena's character. Luckily, I was also talking a lot to Martha, who does have a headache at this very moment. I offered to make her a little something to relieve her pain. A little bit later, I walk along the beach, earning 1,920 from my daily thingy potions. Very nice. I then brew up a pain be gone from my head concoction, and within moments, it has the desired effect. She's thankful and brings up the fact that she's still yet to have a second attempt at those cookies she scuffed up before. That was her mini quest to go to the 3rd tier. I imagine those cookies will be the last one or something. I also note that as friendships progress further and further, those little stone things, they have less of an impact. In the 1st tier, they take up a good chunk of friendship, but now it's noticeably smaller bites. Here's another patient. The potion value is 225, and she paid me 270, which means she paid me 45 for my services. In-game me felt that was really low for the upgrades I did, and editing stage me has to agree. These clinic upgrades are feeling really lackluster. The notice board never fails to disappoint me. I pick up a bunch of quests. I have 4,700 on me right now, and within a few moments, because of all my grinding, I finished off the majority of those jobs. After a short while, I have 6,580 on me, which is about 1,900 right there. I do a lot of these because there is also an achievement for this. I walk into Derek speaking to Opalheart about upgrading the gear, but Opal says that she needs to upgrade her own anvil for this to be a thing. It looks like it's time to upgrade the blacksmith then, but she needs materials from the Wasteland. I stop eavesdropping at this point and come and offer my services. Before that, I upgrade my cauldron and my health capacity. There's actually no stamina capacity upgrades, which bothers me a bit. As per usual, I'm in the new area poking my nose around, and these two show up. This geyser is quite active and is blocking the path. It has to be fixed, but I need permission to pass through, so back to the mayor I go. I need another letter of recommendation, but Allmate also gives me a word of caution. The animals in this new area are quite aggressive, so be wary. Also, about that letter, I had it, but I had to watch the cutscenes in order, so here we are now. And back here again. Yes guys, I have the badge. You literally went home for a cup of tea just to come back to see if I was here again. To the point, this machine is supposed to keep the geyser in check, but it is obviously broken. Some of the pipes here need to be replaced. Righto, Yawn might be able to do this, though he thinks a new pipe would be better. This one is pretty dodgy. I need to go get him materials, but also ask Olive about maybe a new type of pipe design. She works in a bathhouse with hot water pipes, so this makes sense. So a quick visit to her, and she scribbles some notes down for me, which I pass back to Yawn. I'm really getting my steps in today, goodness me. I have the materials on me, but I need to drop them off tomorrow. That might take a bit, because I have an emergency situation in the morning. Bubbles informs me I have 4 people in my clinic. What the hell happened? A good question. I get to all 4 of these people as quickly as I can, and I make several potions I will be needing. You know, there's achievements in this game to be a dud chemist and to forget to cure your patients. To this day, I can very easily manage to treat anyone who comes in. Today is no exception, as I'm a hoarder. I have a quick gander at these people fixing light bulbs out here, so that's nice of them, and I do my thing. I didn't do any calculations here, but brew just paid me over 1100 gold, which is quite nice. And because I can manage with so many patients, if I want those achievements later on, I would actually have to make an effort to fail them when I do. Anyways, Yawn has the pipe for me, but I should have seen this coming. I'm also going to require a truckload of rocks and wood. I get on that sharply. So because I'm making decent money from my potions and from my patients today, I start to keep a stock of grilled tenderloins on me to recuperate my stamina. This is also what kept me alive all of day 37 while I gathered what I needed. To be honest, this part of the game is too repetitive. I was actually watching Attack on Titan for a while as I filled my pockets with materials, which I pass on to these two specimens and they do their thing. Tell me, what part of that metal bridge is comprised of wood and stone? It doesn't matter, as I slap this fast travel banner 2 steps beyond it and I'll never cross that magical bridge again. I introduced myself to the local wildlife. Wood and stone are here again, but I'm gathering them inefficiently. They give me a lot, but it takes a while to break them up. That rock gave me 50 stone just then, and this very dead looking tree gave me 60 wood. So once I get all of my upgrades, I can get resources really quick here. I pick a fight with a Tauros and he gives me quite a beating. I find page 1 of the Barren Wasteland expedition. I'm gonna paraphrase. This team of chemists, they've been asked by the mayor to come and investigate a herb that's been potentially contaminated. The herb in question is aloe. This one grows in dry areas, has water inside, but it has some great properties for chemists to utilize to cure patients. Symptoms like inflammation and dryness can be cured with this herb. I'm harvesting another plant and I nearly died for the first time. Ooh. At that moment, I got hit with a fireball, and the game brings up this helpful guide to watch my health bar. The perpetrator of that attack was this flame-conjuring coyote. Amazing talent, but I have to make an example of him. Here's another example. I just made Luke 2 potions worth 535, and Luke paid me 690, which is 155 gold for my services. I can't seem to find an average, so I reckon the quality of the service also comes into play quite a lot here. Anyways, I explore further into the wasteland, where I get assailed by a giddy crab. I scoff down some delicious food when I need to, and I fight for my life in the section that has seemingly come to a dead end. I engage in some gladiatorial combat with this big fella with an eye patch. I find a tiny crystal behind him, marked with a quest marker. I think this is what Helena was looking for, and I also come across another journal entry. The chemists have found the water source for the aloe in this area within a cave, but it's dirty water, and the health of the aloe is directly related to the ever-increasing befoulment of their water supply. We have tried to see if we could provide another water source for the aloe, but this is the only one we could find. I locate the middle fast travel banner in this area, but my fella also looks towards a smoking water source. Naturally, Mr. Ranger is here saying to keep my distance from this fallout of an accident that happened here. They had no idea about this one, not until I fixed the geyser, so he asks me to stay clear. Right, I'm back in Moon, and funny enough, these two, with a book I provided them at some point, are talking about the Black Lotus plant. It can be located somewhere on this island. Of course, they ask me to find it, and find it I do 5 minutes later at the bottom of the Barren Wasteland. I think the game can be a little bit too predictable. Bubbles is gonna run up any second now and say, "Oi, this is the Black Lotus, and she's been coming here for quite a while, despite the fact I just opened this place." Funny enough, I was right. She says pretty much exactly that. But what I don't know is that this fungus is preventing this plant from flourishing. Now, what I do know is that I will whip up a potion to clear this fungus, no problem. As I run home, I get jump scared by what looks like a sand shark or something. I conduct some research. I slap 7 ingredients into the spot to create the fungi duster, and I indulge in some more literature about my predecessors. At this point, they have made a remedy for the poison in the aloe plants. Once applied, the poison can simply be extracted, but their plan is to have a water purifier machine in the water cave ready to go. They want to slap more potions for the aloe in it, and it will simply purify the water and extract the poison at the same time. However, under new instructions, they have been told to cease all activity and they need to leave the area ASAP. The chemists warn against this. It's dangerous to pack up now and leave the aloe in such a bad condition. mission. It looks like they were forced out. Speaking of forcing someone, it's after 10 PM. I am sure Bubbles is about to go to bed, but I quickly present my potion to her and we go frolicking in the desert in the middle of the night. The fungus is removed and the black lotus starts to reappear. This was all in a single day, by the way, and I go ahead and collect a specimen because Rue wanted one. I slap Zhao with some potions in the morning, worth 680, and he pays me an extra 160. I've had payments that have been 80, 100, 155 and 160 on top, so that's enough for me to say it is what it is. I hand over this tiny crystal to Helena, but back at her place, when she has a more thorough look at it, there seems to be nothing special about it. It's an artifact and not something cool to her, so she says maybe we should give it to Meyer. Before going to Allmate, I visit his daughter and I give her the Black Lotus. Zhao, who is currently sick by the way, but a cutscene is a cutscene, he's here as well, admiring this rare flower. I have 2 meetings that I need to have with Meyer. One is about the chemical waste in the Barrens. Meyer chats a bit about the aloe, how it's a miraculous plant, but it started to get sick. Its color changed, everything I've pretty much been able to discern from those journal entries. He mentions those chemists, that they were around when it happened, so of course the town blamed them. He has another journal fragment with him. The chemists have started their research. They have found a cave that was perfect for their experiment room, though it has dirty water. This must be the first journal entry. They mentioned the cave is easy to find, as there is a square stone landmark out front. This is when they started their investigation and found that some of the aloe were contaminated, and well, we know the rest. The thing is, I haven't found a cave at all in the barren wasteland. Speaking of that area, Helena and I show Old Boy this rock fragment. She was under the impression that this may have been special. She wanted it to be special, but it wasn't. So Maya cheers her up by showing her the moonstone that their ancestors discovered in the barren wasteland. Though don't be confused, this rock fragment we have is not the same as this majestic looking thing. I am back at the wasteland, looking for a cave specifically. At this point I missed that fact that I had to look for that square rock landmark. Kind of like this one, but that hint went over my head. Nope, I looked for a cave that was quite close to the area, which made sense to me. A plant's water source would be close, right? Is this a cave? No it's not. I've been gathering specific resources in the background to get the 3rd upgrade done for the blacksmith. As you can see, that dodgy anvil has been spruced up. I then provided Rhino with the materials so he can also upgrade his place of business. His woodwork table now has a metal frame, which is nice for him I guess. What's nice for me is I can get the next few home upgrades. The clinic will cost me 5,000 gold by the way. The smithy is now open. I made a detour to Rhino because it was closed, but I can get that final tool upgrade now. I get the hammer and the axe first because I need to get those base resources quicker. In the near future, I plan on getting all of the upgrades, and it looks like stone and wood are just a staple for everything. The faster I can get it, the better. I proved this to myself. The 3rd level tools are quite nice. I also want to collect all the flower seeds, so I have a really good look at what I still need to get. Yeah, pretty much all of them, but it's nice to visually see it. I have to visit Bubbles in the daytime for her to give me the seeds I've earned. That's 4 right there. Now, for a little while, I was mass producing vision wards for money, and now that I've unlocked more potions, I want to revisit this. Can I make the same one with less resources? Can I pinpoint the easiest resources I can collect daily very quickly and just use them to make something? Should I be making another potion? I spent quite a bit of time on day 41 trying to figure out a way to make more money, because like I said before, I want to buy everything. Stone and wood, yes, but I'll also need gold, and I'll be mass producing potions, and if I can simplify this process, I will be quite happy. I did come up with something nice, but not this day. However, I did upgrade my sickle, so that's all of my tools upgraded to their maximum. This is a huge achievement. I then tried these planter boxes and I planted some cognac. I just wanted to see how this will go. Maybe I can even incorporate this into my strategy. I haven't forgotten I was looking for a cave entrance, so I looked at my map and I hoped to get a clue here, but nope. I find 6 local quests that need to be done, most of which I can do straight away of course, and I get the achievement for doing 25 notice board quests right now. Speaking of achievements, so we need to still collect that much stone and stuff. Brew potions, yep, that's fine. But there was something else I saw. Forage, here we go. We need to forage 1,000 plants. Pet your dog 50 times. Okay, I guess I do need to continue petting the dog. Good lord. Grape supply, yep. Cook food. Being forgetful, fail to cure a patient. Forage 1,000 stones. So I actually need to go and chop down 1,000 stones and 1,000 trees. The 10,000 is not the problem. This is the problem. Good lord. Yep, that means a lot of grinding. But I do resume touching Ben daily once again. As I'm moving towards those major goals, I'm also getting all the herbs again so that I can get their seeds from bubbles. This is how some of them are looking now, planted in my little garden. I then go and treat Osmond's boo-boos, and I get the achievement that I collected 10,000 stone. I still have 500 individual rocks to break, but let's discuss that later. For now, I read this quest log properly, and it said I should be looking for a square-shaped stone in the barrens. This thing kind of looks like a square, but it's not what I'm looking for though. This is what I'm looking for, and I had to click this rubble to interact with it. I give it a few knocks. I guess I'm listening to see if it's blocking a passageway. I need to talk to Forest, because the quest told me to, and I inform the fella I'm working towards getting the aloe back, and we have to go move a boulder. His tools are worn out, so let's go visit the blacksmith. And here Forest is asking them for a pickaxe. You know what's coming, right? They don't have any. I'll have to provide materials and we can go from there. As you can see, I have the moonite. Razor fins I don't have. Do you know where I get them? From these sand sharks. I need 8 of them, and these guys only spawn in 2s every day. So guess what? I'll be grinding them out for a couple of days. My cognacs are ready the next morning, and looks like I get 4 from each one, meaning that's 12 of these bad boys every so often. I didn't believe it myself, but getting 12 like this is pretty huge. I plant some mushrooms so I can give old Benny boy some healthy meals. For some reason he likes them. And then I go and beat up some sand sharks. Afterwards I go pay Reiner 5,000 gold to upgrade my clinic to its maximum. This is the before, and now this is looking really nice. The inside looks good as well. The beds have all been finally fixed. I had another look at which potion I could mass produce, and I come across this advanced serum. Something like this looks easy. 4 ingredients? Those dew plants are hard hitters. They cover a good slab, and it sells for 320 as well. I just thought that the planter boxes can get me 12 of those guys every other day. I could even lessen the impact by doing something like this. See these 4 ingredients here? These dews, white flowers, tree sap and jelly goo all come from the meadowlands. If I go and hunt just these ones, then it'll be really quick, and if I grow these big hitters every so often, I'll get a boost in materials. I teleport to the dew flowers, which is the middle fast travel point in the meadowlands. I then bamf to the other side, and I kill a few slimes for their jelly drops. Sometimes I get them, sometimes not. I run a little further on, and I get these white jasmines next, and I chop down a few trees for their saps. In about 2.5 hours, I've gathered what I need to make these potions. This isn't just for this day. I'm gonna gather for a few days, wait for the juice to grow in my house, and then I'll be able to make a bunch of these potions. To me, this was simple, not overly complicated, and it'll bring me in some decent money on a regular basis, for very little effort. To celebrate, I get Reiner to also improve my house. This is a before, and this is an after, looking good. From this diagram, it suggests I also have more living space, and correct, I do have more living space. It looks barren as hell though. Speaking of barren, I slapped some sharks again, and I have what I need to get that pickaxe. I'll be able to collect it tomorrow. I plant some of these rainbow dew flowers. I spent 3 hours working towards my pocket money, but I was devastated to see that Hearts and Sparks, that's the blacksmith shop, is closed. I could have searched for Runeheart, but I didn't think that at the time, so I went ahead and did a little fishing. By the way, the fishing in this game is a little long-winded. I give Cassandra some chemist care the next day, and the potions were worth 500 and she paid me 600, so 100 on top. The income I receive from this clinic is really all over the place. This is with the highest upgraded clinic, and that alone cost me 5,000 gold. A bit underwhelming, to be honest. But hey, I just made more of those serums and I got the achievement to brew 150 potions. Bloody beauty, mate. I visit Runeheart, who has the pickaxe for me. I then grab these 2 rangers and we head over to that boulder. Within moments, it has now magically disappeared and we're good to head inside. Forrest suggests that this entrance must have been blocked when the geyser exploded a little while back, and a chunk of earth must have crashed exactly here. Yeah, very unlucky. That same geyser also caused those landslides in the meadowlands, which is interesting. This cave is also intriguing. A few chemist things are here, a body of water that looks fouled, and an old machine that has pipes leading into the water. Even Forrest notices this. They will go and report to Meyer, and I'm gonna investigate here. A journal scrap. The contaminated aloe has quickly spread its disease to the other healthy specimens. The chemists are doing what they can to reduce the spread, so I guess this is before they found the cure. I get abducted by Zhao the next morning, something urgently apparently. I get roped into a town meeting. Matty Boy, that prick witch doctor from the beginning of the game, is stirring the pot, trying to pit the town against chemists. Specifically me. To think those scurvy dogs would do such a thing. Wait, is this about the aloe thing? Oh no, do they have the wrong impression? Apparently we were hiding our failed experiments in that cave that was blockaded. I come in and my god, the tension is thicker than butter in here. How many more problems need to be uncovered, asks Matt the twat. Maya calms him down. Clearly I had nothing to do with this. But how did I find the cave? I read notes from the previous people that were being held in a box by the mayor. Clearly these people can't read if that's the case. Everyone suspects me of knowing about this beforehand, like I was sent to finish the job or something. No, Dev, everything you have heard about chemists isn't true. No, Derek, this isn't some evil scheme I'm trying to hide. Thank you, Luque. He actually asks me for my opinion and not outright accusing me. No, mate, it's not true. The room bristles with conversation, and Matt the twat demands I just reveal that I'm here under secret orders from the association. No, mate, Meyer invited me to this island to cure his daughter, something you failed at. In fact, I'm trying to establish facts about everything that's happened before my time. Thus far, we've come out pretty clear. Meyer asks me to state how my investigating is going on the barren wasteland. There's never any dialogue boxes for my fella, but it looks like he's giving a compelling narrative. Yes, prick, the aloes were infected by a contagious plant fever. Thank you, Meyer. The chemists were indeed trying to cure this disease before it could spread, but unfortunately, they were forced to pack up and leave before they could finish. Well, it looks like some of them are opening up to the truth about that hidden cave. These two idiots were not saying anything before, but they do now. Maybe the geyser explosion a while back caused a landslide and the cave got blocked as a result. There's a contaminated spring water source in the cave that's also the water source for the aloe, and it's also what caused the fever for said specimens. Are we too late then? Nah, all I have to do is conduct some research, make a potion, and she'll be alright, mate. Meyer finally asks everyone, now that we have that all behind us, can we all come together and help me instead of hindering me? And it looks like this meeting has steered us into the right direction. I start telling the people what I think I'll need to make this work, so I'm probably going to have to play fetch for a bit. What am I going to need though? Well, Opal Heart can fix this machine. However, there is an empty slot there, looking like a potion spot. Right, that will be my duty. I've taken a sample of the water and I slapped some question marks before I reach a logical conclusion. My thought on this is, I'm gonna need a bigger cauldron, which Runar can do for me right away. I'm only able to use the fire element ingredients for this potion. I am cleansing water and you do this with fire, of course. After a short while, I'll be honest, I finally fit all the pieces together and let the cauldron bubble and brew up a glowing purified water. We're back at the cave. Opal Heart made it sound like I was gonna need materials. She did, but they covered it. I did my part and the town must have come in clutch for the rest. That is awesome. Indeed, the villagers are working side by side with a chemist. Matt's sulking, of course, but even a non-believer will be convinced after this display. Nice, mate. The water looks crystal clear now. Quickly, outside everyone, Forest has something to show us. In real time, everyone can see the healthy aloes spring up from the once dead earth here. The journal was correct. The water source was the base problem. Matt finally says something positive. I am one talented person. Cheers, prick. Maya suggests that we must all be exhausted, but how about we repair the tavern so we can have a feast? Okay, after a half-assed cleanup, I'm sure, we are all having a party at the tavern. The vibe is good in here. Everyone seems happy. Maya asks me to join his family table and takes a moment to thank me. That's another damaged area I have cleaned up. I am humble, of course, and say the villagers have also helped. Yeah, that's fair. I got all my upgrades and building upgrades from them. Either way, quest is completed. Drake Aloe. And I waste no time and I go and collect some of these specimens for myself. I run back into that cave because I wanted to see if anything here can be used for my own efforts. But nope, this has become a backdrop from the looks of it. I was hoping there would be some planter boxes in there, but I have my 3 and they have provided me with 12 rainbow juice today, and that is good stuff. Later, after I harvested for 3 hours, house, I can make 7 of these bad boys. I can only sell 6 at a time, so maybe I should upgrade this thing. I pick up more bulletin board quests as it's Monday, and I hand in whichever ones I can right away. I skipped the fishing quest this time because I really didn't like fishing in this game. Now I can still upgrade my house or my postbox. I'll get to these soonish. But for now, I went and gathered what I needed for those bulletin board quests. Among the items were the shells from these fellas. I find the first one in this area never drops one, which is really inconvenient for me. Those 6 potions I made sold for 1,920, which is pretty good. Now, this is the second time Zhao has tried to meditate up here. He wants to show me how calm he can be. Like last time, which I didn't show you, someone rocks up and starts to make a commotion. Victor in this case, and he starts to loudly talk to himself because he's weird. Zhao is not impressed. Luke is impressed by a book he mentioned about the importance of balancing human life and nature. I had this book and he's in awe. He can borrow it, no problem for me. Read to your heart's content. You're probably the only one in the village that can. The association rocks up again in the morning of day 50, seeing what I've accomplished thus far. They have one final test for me. Pass this exam and yada yada yada. I whip out my magnifying glass. I slap some ingredients into my cauldron and voila, I have completed the angel wine. I hope these guys didn't travel far, because they're back in the mayor's office place a few hours later. They take the potion and they say they will need to examine it back at the capital. Apparently this test is quite difficult. Most people fail this. Yeah, cheers for the confidence, mate. I'll see you soon. For now, I watch Martha's final cutscene thing. I came to see her because she had prepared those cookies for me, finally. But she gets funny all of a sudden, saying that they're bad and that I should just leave. Please leave. Sounds like something more is going on. She looks very upset. I follow her. She is not happy and saying that I should know the reason why she's angry. Martha, I'm a dude. I have no idea why you're so angry right now. Don't try to lie. She thought that I was a good person. What the hell? I only came for some bloody cookies. But she says that I was just playing with her feelings. I'm gonna let in-game me take over. What the hell is going on? Oh man, she is really pissed. Well, I better find her. But Yorn says, oh look, these are the cookies she must have made for me. She has been working on them all night. I better take them with me. I find her where Zhao likes to meditate. Luckily he's not trying to do that right now. But here's what I needed to hear. She's mad because she thinks I'm going back to the capital, which isn't true? What? I promised her I'd try her cookies, which I'm now starting to see as I thought we had something special. Who told me? Russo did. He told me that you're going back tomorrow. Okay, that little shit. Okay, that little scamp Russo has been spreading little white lies. I've been confused out of my mind for a few minutes, but turns out it's because Russo told a lie. A prank, if you will. The little fella likes to play pranks. Martha is feeling very relieved, embarrassed, thankful, and all those mixed emotions. She's very apologetic, of course. Yes, I forgive you, Martha, if I can get some cookies from ya. I've kept my promise. I brought the cookies. Let's eat them. This was the fake news quest thing. I got an achievement down below for getting my first villager to the 3rd tier. I am glad that it was Martha. That smiley face now turns into a little love heart. Wait, does that mean I have a girlfriend now? I tried to leave the area, but oh, god damn it. Yep, I walked into this cutscene. Luckily, Martha and I won't be interrupting him. I get to watch him try and be calm. Guess who it is this time? Yorn of all people. Zhao postpones this until a later time. He says he's too easily distracted. Yeah, fair enough, mate. Also, guess who I see? Excuse me, mate. We need to have a bit of a conversation. A chemist? Well, you are lame. What even is a chemist? My god, did this kid just roast my whole profession? There's no one around at the moment. There is a bit of a spot here. I can make it look like an accident. Yeah, it'll be fine. Nah, best take note from Zhao's anger issues. Keep a cool head, I reckon. I speak again to Martha tonight, whose friendship is now locked behind a love heart symbol, but I see a new option to confess to her. Looks like I need something to do this. My favorite humans come to visit me on the morrow. Old mate Nestor, with pleasure, announces I have passed the test. Why is Colin facing the other way? Oh right, he was preparing my new license for me. A very helpful and cool looking mate. Nestor also gives me a medical association badge, which proves I have passed this exam. They wish me luck and they're on their way. I do my thing. There's still quite a few achievements I need to get. A few upgrades. This is the last house expansion, by the way. Before and after. The roof looks better, finally. Now, I didn't really see a point in getting the postbox upgrades. It wasn't that important to me. I mean, what are you gonna do? Make it bigger? Yeah, nope, he's made it rounder. Okay, fair enough. I have provided Runard here with a bunch of materials, so she can forge an awesome dagger. She feels like she's always being judged unfairly by her mum, so she wanted to whip up something special without her input. Opalheart seems impressed by this piece of work. Runard is ready to do even more training, and Opal says that she will have another training session tomorrow. This was her 3rd tier questline. Remember, there's a lot of these for all of the villages. I then inspect my postbox. I can now deliver 12 potions per day. Yeah, that's pretty nice. And I also go and see the biggest house upgrade. It's just a lot of more open space in the bedroom. I will have to fill it, I guess. Luque doesn't feel so lucky on the morning of day 52. It's okay, he's in my care, and he's paid me 870 gold for my services. I then sell 9 of my potions, and this is going to bring in a pretty penny. Afterwards, I then buy a bunch of random furniture. For some reason, I had to buy one, close the shop counter, and reopen it to buy the next one, so it actually took a little while. I then make sure to speak to as many villagers as I could, but also this little fipster, because I saw I can unlock a cooking recipe with one of his cutscenes. The exact same reason applies to this cat. Yes, you can talk to a feline in this game. Giving a pebble to a cat is just the way to do things. I still have to catch 20 fish for Liano. I was really dreading this quest, but I needed to do it to unlock her next friendship tier. Otmar also has a cooking recipe for me. I'm working towards achievements in this game, and any specific things I wanted to do for myself. Getting all the cooking recipes was one for myself. I then go ahead and do a little decorating. Honestly, this doesn't look great. I wasn't a huge fan of the decorating in this game. A very few games actually get me keen on that factor. To be honest, the only one I really got into was my 200 Days Dinkum video, where I built an entire town. I love that game. Sadly, the fishing is also a bit of a grind. It just takes so long to catch a single fish. Do you remember this book here that it had a bunch of upside down tarot cards? Well, turns out they are character cards. I guess when I reach a certain friendship with someone, the card gets added here. There's a few right now: Helena, Martha, Rainer, and Runhard. Day 53 begins with a plan. I reckon today we're probably just gonna go ahead and do a bunch of fishing, because I saw that with the fishing stuff. Hey buddy, what are you doing staring into my house? Wait, Artemis, I need something. Okay, sure. Sister Cecilia has been complaining about toilet trouble. She says it's painful. Okay. Could you make her a potion? Oh my god. This is going where I thought it was going. Yep, he wants me to make him a poop potion. Oh, sorry, let's be elegant here. A stomach cleanser. Also, here's a little bit of footage, but this is my cooking recipe at the moment. A lot of these are locked behind villager friendships. This is one of them. Hunt down the small child. Though, to be honest, this is probably a prank. Because he pranked Martha before, this is very likely him just taking the piss with me, if I'm completely honest. I hand him over the potion, and he gives me a cheeky grin. Yeah, I'm gonna be avoiding you for a little bit, lad. I will talk to Sister Cecilia, however. I give her 5 truffles, which she will use to feed the town something good. This was another small thing I had to do for a recipe. I spend a lot of my day fishing, because I wanted to do Liano's cutscene, but I also reached level 1 in that skill. This also opens up a questline to go to the next tier of fishing. Although it was tedious, I wanted to max out the skill as well for myself. A little later, I had cut down enough herbs in the meadows by now, and I had unlocked all of their seeds. It was time to start on the next zone. Guess who had the runs last night? Before Orme could get another word in, he has to go. Oh, the poor fella. Bloody demon, that kid. Someone else untoward is prowling about, and they got into Forest's material storage. We will wait and catch them in the act tonight. So we do this, and guess who we see strolling around, like he owns the joint? Dan the pirate fella. He's not that fond of me, apparently. He was trying to make his own potions. What a scoundrel. He does get a good scolding from Forrest Gump here. Lieutenant Dan is getting a scolding from Forrest Gump. Beautiful. Do you want to see some magic? I'm crossing this crappy bridge right into a cutscene. Oi mate. Hello Artemis. I just walked across this bridge and it was just... Really guys? Goodness gracious me, I was just walking across that. Yeah, bloody hell, Otmar and Reinhardt make some kind of god duo. Phenomenal craftsmanship. and with stealth. I checked this notice board for people things again. Nova has an interesting one. She had made moon brooches and she's willing to trade. This sparked a memory that I had to give some moon thing to Martha to confess to her. There are 9 active quests that can be started here, but I'm looking at this fishing one. I need to meet Liano in the park. This isn't for her 20 fish. No, this is because I reached level 1 fishing. She called me here because she wants Reiner to have a look at my rod. Apparently it's fragile and worn out. Reiner can fix her right up, given that I have the right materials. Oh, would you look at that? I definitely do. And once Reiner is finished, he shoos us away, saying that he's got better things to do. I mean, the guy makes furniture and a fishing rod is a tool, and not his cup of tea. But reaching the next level fishing is my cup of coffee, however. I go fishing in this other spot that's now my level. This also gets me an achievement of fishing 50 times. So you know how I said fishing was tedious? Yeah, it becomes even more so now. It's harder to level, but I do catch a blue marlin in a river. Well, I did throw a marlin in a pond in my dinkum video, so yeah, sure, why not? I then go and fish up the smaller specimens, just so I have 20 fish meats for Liano. Oh dear, Cecilia is in my clinic this morning. It better not be anything to do with her stomach. I knew it! That little monster. I'm an angel compared to him. At least I know the remedies to the effects of my other potions. I'm now properly in the cold area, systematically gathering all the herbs here for their seeds. I'm still chopping wood and stone for these achievements as well. I'm also killing 1,000 monsters, so that's also on my to-do list. I take breaks, of course, to pet and feed Benjamin, and later I finally give 20 of these pieces of fish to Liano. This took forever. She tells me a story. Oh, that's right, I was getting a bedtime story for this. Well, she used to be a pirate and got into a battle once upon a time, and some fella chopped off her arm. If you didn't notice, she's got a hook for an arm. She's still got her spirit though. She's a positive one, this lass. I go and speak to Nova. I can trade her 5 pebble things for this moon brooch. I want to give this brooch to Martha. These next level fish take longer to catch. You get a bit more XP, but they take longer to reel in. And after I caught this goldfish, I have caught 10 different species here in Moon, making progress. On day 57, I'm still grinding out the herbs in the cold area. I'll have to spend several days doing this, as I need several of each specimen to get their seeds. So I'd consider myself a decent member of this community. I do as many, almost all of the notice board requests, because I'm a good Samaritan. Then this cheeky fella Derek rocks up. He asks if I'm doing exactly that, and suggests I should do something that a chemist can do, that I shouldn't bite off more than I can chew. Well, is that a challenge, mate? He takes me up on that, and he says I should go slay some ferocious animals. He doubts my capabilities, and he struts off like he's a winner chicken. You, mate. Not only will I do the rest of these quests today, I will also do your thing. Me buying this health and cauldron upgrade has nothing to do with my confidence, it's just a coincidence that I'm getting them. These are the bears that he's referring to. I believe I have it on footage earlier that I can take on 2 bears at the same time, but there's only 3 of these little cubs on a daily basis, so I'm gonna have to finish this off tomorrow. Until then, I have a confession to make. She's surprised at this item, and she asks to talk privately. Does this mean I want her to be my lover? Of course, she feels the same way. Not a brooch, but she has knitted me a scarf, which is very kind of her. We have a little bit of small talk, how we met, how we have kept in touch. Look, I'm gonna be honest here. I felt a little more connected to the NPCs in this game, more so than I did with the ones in Stardew Valley. Overall, I'll still say that Stardew Valley has this game beat in most categories, but the NPCs and the cutscenes were something I quite enjoyed here. Also, dating has been unlocked. Well, why not now? I ask Martha for our first date. This gets me an achievement. Our very first outing together is actually staying in, cooking our own home-cooked meal and enjoying it over some casual banter, which is finished with a goodbye kiss. I will say a bit more effort was put into the NPCs in this game. I like the way they've approached it in this one. Yep, they're pretty good. Now to one of my least favorite tasks, fishing. But I do want to max this out, so yeah. It's day 58, and at this stage I've entered the endgame. The story of Potion Permit was done, I think. So right now I was hunting achievements and anything else I wanted to do, like prove myself to Derek that indeed this tiny fella can take on bears. I also need to expand my pockets. Look at all these seeds coming in. Rousseau wants to go out. He wants to explore, but old boy Forrest Gump is indeed doing his job, which is keeping this little fella from potential bears. Some of those bears are gone though, thanks to me. Impressive work for a chemist, yet you have indeed grossly underestimated me, lad. At least he apologizes and says that I've earned his respect. But Derek, 5 bears have been culled unnecessarily because of your lack of faith. And more fishing next, and I'm more than halfway through level 2, and it wasn't until the next day that I finally reached the next tier. How about another date with Martha? We snuck into the bathhouse at nighttime. Of course, how else do you get this amazing sort of privacy? We even have our own little food floating thing, and by this time I've started grinding out the barren wasteland herbs, as I've completed the cold area by now. I meet Liano and Runart at the wharf the next day. Runart has been asked to look at my rod, perhaps an upgrade again. She is a blacksmith, so she can make this rod a whole lot stronger. This will require materials, of which I have, except for 4 more dark shards. Remember these shield and sword mutts? Yeah, these fellas dropped them, but I do have them the next day. My god, this woman has got like the most swagger I've seen in my entire life. Like Runard is just like a light bounce in her step or whatever. That one's like she's drunk off her face. Oh my god. Anyways, I now have the ultimate fishing rod, and I also get the next 2 upgrades to my HP. I really wish you could upgrade your stamina in this game, but nope. The final level 3 area I can fish in town is at the wharf. These fish are huge. Sadly, this is also my least favorite fishing spot. The fish, they move towards the bottom sometimes, and they often get stuck on the buoys. I only have a set time of reeling them in before they fight back, and I find they often go and get stuck down there. When I do, I'm not reeling them in, but it's counted as that phase, so these guys can sometimes take excruciatingly long. Often the fish gets further away before it finally tires out enough, so then I can reel it in. Day 62 is a wonderful day, as I gather the last herbs I needed to complete Bubble's seed collection thing, which in turn completes my seeds. I also get the achievement to forage 1,000 plants this day, which is one of those really big ones off my shoulders. I start to gather the base materials just in the Meadowlands, as the trees and rocks here are a lot easier to harvest, so it is going to be simpler to work towards those 1,000 of each achievements. I then remembered there was a different fishing location in the cold area in this cave. The fish are also tough here, and they also require another type of bait, of which I had one this time. I was chopping down a tree on day 63. Apparently there was something behind it, because it got caught in the crossfire. I unlocked the Slay 1000 enemies achievement. That is another big one off my list. Bubbles list is also done as well. Look at that beautiful flower box. No achievement for this, I just felt like doing it. So what's left? In progress, I have to cook food 15 times, reach friendship with level 2 10 villagers, part-time in the police office, yep. Successfully cure 50 patients, we still got a little way to do that. Pet the dog 50 times, I'll be doing that shortly as well. Work part-time in the post office. Cook food 50 times, work part-time in the church 15 times. Forage 1,000 stone and forage 1,000 tree. These 2 are still really far away. Quests, I need to pick up the quests today. Being a donut and that. Okay, I still have quite a bit left to do. Alright, let's do this. I made a quick detour to Maya's office. At this time, in-game me was a little confused. Have I finished the game? Like, the storyline part. It kind of abruptly ended and I was a little confused. Well, this museum thing is looking good. It has all those specimens I revived on Moonstone Island. There's also a whole bunch of new quests I can easily do. You know, I'm just handing in these questions and these 2 are having a conversation about caterpillars. It is on a loop, but I can see these people are actually having a conversation. What does this say, Laura? What does it say? It says that the caterpillar becomes a pupa once it's eaten enough food. That ugly thing turns into a butterfly. Yep, I think caterpillars are adorable. So they just keep having the same conversation over and over again. But still, even then, like, realistically, I would just be running past and I will catch maybe a glimpse of this conversation. So, oh no, I like it. Yeah, the town felt alive in this game. Many conversations I could eavesdrop on. Reiner upgrades my post box once more. I have 1 more level to go. And quite a few recipes are yet to be unlocked. I remembered now that I needed to speak to villagers for these. But the next day, I saw a villager that was blank for me. It's Matty Boy. Apparently, I've never met him. He's still a bit of a prick. I had to go give some grilled fish to this homeless man so he can give it to his cat for a recipe of that meal. But here I am patiently waiting for him to finish his cat nap so I can complete that endeavor. Kips loves the fish, despite the fact she's licking the bowl, so seems more like milk. But I get the recipe, and when I later checked, it was indeed for grilled fish. So again, I'm in the endgame, and I'm talking to quite a few people as I need to for recipes. But something was really bugging me at this time. A burning question: have I finished the game? I was so unsure, so I looked it up, and turns out there is a true ending to be unlocked. How do you get it? Remember how befriending people slowly gets upgrades to the town, like the bridge being fixed or my yard being cleaned? Yep, I need to be on good terms with enough people to unlock the final cutscene. At least I've pet Benny Boy 50 times before that happened. I also get my final cauldron upgrade, just so I can say that I have. I've also noticed that the people you can romance have an extra tier of friendship as opposed to the other NPCs. Those mooncloves are great for getting friendship points, but I find there are too few in number. I never really had a lot of them. Also, a quick backtrack: Otmar is maxed out on friendship. He only had 2 tiers of it, where Liano there would have 3 because you could date her, I believe. Rue is sick again on day 66. I think she's been here the most, like 4 times? I'm not actually too sure. What I am sure of is All Boy here has upgraded my postbox for the last time. That is indeed the final upgrade type thing I can get in the game. I still need to work part-time, and I wondered what would happen if I failed one. My guy slumps in failure and I get no payment. What else did I think would happen? I had retrieved materials to get Reiner to fix Yorn's bancho, so he can serenade me a bit, which is nice I guess, and also that is his last cutscene thing. It also prepared me, because I had to endure more painful fishing. I have a little while to go. The next day I got the achievement that I worked enough in the police department. I guess I was just one away as well from that. I still have the post office and the grape squashing to go. I eavesdrop on a conversation between Meyer and Zeke. Apparently Zeke is a famous merchant from the capital, and Zeke retorts with, well, the real surprise is that Meyer became mayor. Wait, what history do these two have? But time is moving on. I'm slowly befriending everyone and getting a few more photos in this album. These photos are really nice. It'll be cool if Stardew Valley had something like this. But I am cutting a lot of these cutscenes from the villages and only keeping the ones that lead to recipes. But this one was funny though. Mercy, the mother of Luke and Laura, she wants me to make potions for both of them. Apparently Laura wants to be tall, like her big brother. Lady, she's like 10 or something, and I imagine Luke is a grown man. Of course he's going to be taller. Now about Luke, apparently he can't find a date, he's too skinny, and we need to fatten him up. Both potions I make this night, and I handed them in, getting the aforementioned recipe. A few days later, I have answered a distress call from this prick, but he immediately refuses my help. But fine, since no one else showed up to help him. Mate, I think I'm the only one who does these, so yeah. I'm the best you can do. The idiot has lost his notebook, his precious notebook that is very dear to him and has probably got a lot of incorrect information in it. He was walking around the meadowlands when he noticed that he'd lost it. He says that he'll stay here to look for it, and he sends me out to the meadows, but he threatens me if I dare read it. Mate, I'm not interested in your bullshit, okay? But I do find this prized thing in pieces. Well, to be fair, there's wild animals around here, but as you can see, he's also as dumb as a post. What's this? Did you look inside? There are several pages missing. Laddie, a wild animal likely did this. I found it like that. Be grateful, you animal. Please leave, he asks. And this unlocks his next tier of friendship. Weird, it seemed like he hated me even more. I best give him a pebble for his big little feelings, I guess. I finished the game story a little while ago. It's day 73 right now, and getting the achievements, I'm basically doing 3 things. Talking to people. You can see a few more pictures in this book. And I'm also gathering resources for those hard to get achievements, plus fishing when I have the desire for it. I cure Martha the following day, and she becomes my 50th patient. I can tell because of that achievement I just got. And it's a few sunrises later, and I'm working on my fishing. I got the proper bait, so I can now fish in the snow cave as well, because I would like to catch everything in the game. As I'm scrolling through this encyclopedia, I have only a few left. This rainbow trout was a rare fish. I also need to catch some fairy thing in the ocean, as well as some dragonfish in this cave as well. I did look this up, and when I get them, that'll be all the fish. And I have been doing this for a few days because I wanted to get the most tedious thing done, which is fishing, of course. I'm looking for 2 more specimens, that dragon one and the fairy one in the ocean. As you can see there, I have maxed out my fishing as well. I believe this is as high as it can go. I got tired of this cave, I wasn't hooking that dragon thing, and I tried the ocean. And the first fish I catch is in fact that fairy. It was appreciated, but all it did was send me straight back to that cave, and now I have 1 fish left to go. I had in fact spent a few days just trying to catch this bugger, with no success of course. I looked it up again. It turns out I won't be able to catch him, not until I do something. Specifically, it's part of a quest for dating Liano, which makes sense. I am gonna be wooing her for a bit then. So sometime later, 3 days actually, and I'm looking at my cookbook. It's filling up quite nicely, but there is a few left. I still had to finish off those part-time job achievements. They're actually easy to miss. What wasn't easy to miss was this constant weight on my shoulder. One of them, anyways, was felling 1,000 trees. My god, this one is finally done, and now it's just the rocks. I get this cutscene from Maya before that happens. It's not the final one, but I think it's the second last upgrade to the town I can get. The fountain has been fixed, so it brings this town square to life a bit. But I'm deeply relieved to see Zhao on my doorstep on the morning of day 88, about 37-ish days since I finished the storyline of this game. It's indeed the cutscene I've been waiting for. For about 37 days, I've been talking to NPCs and grinding out friendships slowly, until enough has been accumulated for this cutscene, I guess. It is pretty damn good. We're all gathered here for the ceremony to celebrate the restoration of our town square statue. We all agreed we wanted to give this statue a new look, so we tried to come up with a new design for the old statue. I think this is the end actually. We have a moon, which symbolizes Moonbury and its people. And then a flower which represents our local flora. And finally a hand protecting the two of them, which symbolizes you, the chemist. Nova and Anna came up with a new design. Nice! And it turned out gorgeous. Well, of course it was my idea after all. God damn it, I clicked too fast. I might actually cry. Colin, you promised me to keep your mouth shut. But you agree with me, don't you? I do. You've done a really splendid job to achieve all you have. Placing you here as an excellent decision, wasn't it? You've not only proven yourself truly excellent chemist, you've also won the villagers' hearts and cleared up a long-held misunderstanding. On that note, I hereby present you with this potion permit. This is the final one. I knew you could do it, Artemis. Didn't think you had it in you. Nice job, matey. Congratulations. You've done a great job, Artemis. Meow. Oh shit, I forgot about that prick, Mateo. Thank you for being a part of Moonbury, Artemis. Now let's work together, hand in hand, helping each other. And make Moonbury an even better place to live. Okay. There you go. That is indeed the ending credits. I actually had to look this up as well, saying, when do you actually reach the end of the game? Because it was abrupt and it just kind of went from storyline into grind mode, if that made sense. I was really confused. Now, I've got this, and I knew that you had to befriend the people to get to this point, and that's perfectly fine. Now there's a couple of things left for me to do, which is the achievements. I want to get them done. Correct. There's a few left, including these. Am I really gonna do this? Oh goodness me, I gotta fail to cure 10 patients. How can you go from one and then the other? I'd rather start a new game and just be the biggest scoundrel the world has ever seen. I'll make that decision after the fact, I think. For now, I go and finally get that Rock Exterminator achievement. Honestly, this one and the 1,000 trees was possibly the grindiest thing I've ever done in gaming. Also quite unnecessary. I go do a little bit of cooking and I get to cook something 15 times achievement. I still wanted to fish that last fishy, so I made sure to get Liana to where she needed to be. I then decided to roast 35 corns. It was to cook food 50 times, and I go and get Liana's cutscene next. She is getting homesick for her past life, and when she was on the open seas, she wants to return to being a pirate. My fella, even though he never says a word and everyone else repeats what he says, asks her to stay because he will be worried about her. She calls me a silly sausage for worrying so much, but she's asking me for some help. She will need some gunpowder to man her guns. Yeah, she's not joking, she was a pirate once upon a time. So I go ahead and reluctantly brew up some gunpowder in a cauldron of water, and she is thankful for the assist. In the morning she's ready to go, but she asks, do I have a list? And that there's one thing on her list that she's missing. That thing is me. No, she won't kidnap me, but she's had a moment of reflection on our time together, how she will be lonely without me, that things on the island aren't that bad. This is her new adventure, all the villagers are her crew, and the village is her ship, that she won't get seasick on this waterless continent with me. Okay, well, she did a full 180 very quickly, but that's fine, I'm now able to date her. But I don't have pebbles to trade for a brooch yet. What I do have is complete 75 quests from this community board achievement. I give Liana the brooch later on, and she thought this day would never come, that she would settle on land and find herself a partner. But there's something missing. In pirate tradition, there's a specific fish that needs to be caught to bind two people, the flying dragonfish. That would be this guy right here. He took longer than a normal fish, which was annoying, but that is also the last fish in the game, which is something I wanted to tick off for myself. Now Liana and I are bound as crewmates. She gives me a kiss to make it official. Naturally, our first date was a fishing one, and one that finished with her falling asleep on my shoulder, which is also very sweet. I think something like this, dating, needs to be implemented into Stardew Valley. The community would rave for this kind of intimacy. Now, the next day, I have worked enough to get the achievement to work part-time at the church making wines. I have but one left there. I have provided Mercy here with some ingredients so that she can make a few tasty meals for her kids. This one got me another cooking recipe. Speaking of recipes, there were two I could get if I entered the tavern at a certain time. I had to have friendship with both Yawn and the cat Kips, but I found it difficult to activate this cutscene. It takes a few days, and in that time, I got the achievement to work enough at the post office, all done and dusted. One other final recipe I could get is from Zhao. I had done the quest line, and the final step was Maya wanted to show him his appreciation. I was to deliver an item to him. It was an envelope. The contents are none of my business, and I can expect maybe unlocking the next tier of friendship with Zhao tomorrow, so I can work towards that last recipe. That one and an additional two I can get from entering the bar at the right time. I was really having trouble activating this cutscene. I had even looked up threads on how to do it. I also have a chat to Zhao, but his friendship is just locked and there was nothing more I could do there. Usually I would check the notice board for updates, but there was nothing there. As I was trying to get those cutscenes, it was also time to be a donut and to fail at treating my patients. People, mind you, who I've spent 96 days building a trust with. I felt horrible doing it. I was purposely failing these diagnosis tests, but later I would neglect the entire clinic completely. There was also nothing new with Zhao, and a thought started to creep into my head. But I was also delighted and also mortified that the occasion when several people come into my clinic has just occurred. Getting that achievement to fail 10 people has just become that much easier. But I feel really bad in doing this. It is a short while later, and I have failed my first patient. That achievement is like a slap in the face, but it is what it is. Bubbles informs me that if I don't cure my patients in a reasonable amount of time, they will be sent off to Matty Boy. Okay, fair enough. I also then finally encountered this cutscene. Kips the cat had just stolen Yawn's recipes for his tenderloin and apple juice. This cutscene really took a long time to activate, and I was starting to think that it may have been broken. But anyways, Yawn has chased off Kips, and he's come to a realization that I may have read his precious recipe book while he was getting his exercise. He's upset, of course, and now he has to rejig his recipes. The next morning, I wake up and my trust from the town plummets. I had failed all those bulk customers. Oh my goodness gracious me. Artemis, I'm sorry, but it seems that you weren't able to treat our villagers' ailment in good time. Oh goodness me. We had no option but to take them away and look for other forms of treatment. Please don't make the same mistakes again. I'm sorry, my dear friend, I have to make it 4 more times for an achievement. So finally, I have the grilled tenderloin and apple juice, all but one recipe. So, this one. I get it from Zhao, and it's some time later. I'm reading threads up on what may be wrong and why I'm not able to further my friendship with Zhao. From what I've read, he's supposed to come to me next, like how Liano did before. I gave her that gunpowder and the next day she was in front of my house. I am supposed to meet him outside of my house in the evening, so I run around like an idiot trying to activate this cutscene. I even restarted my game because that was also suggested. So here's the final verdict. I believe my game glitched that cutscene. I read a few other threads saying that this could possibly happen. I had spent days trying to get it, and I never did. It is day 99 by the way, but I did get this. There we go. This guy's telling me I failed, but what do you see down at the bottom right corner? Anything but. That's gonna be 100% of potion permit. Be a beautiful mate. You've unlocked all achievements, 38 out of 38. Wonderful. Well, that wraps up 100% of potion permit. I never saw that cutscene from Zhao, and at this point, I've had my fill. I would have liked all the cooking recipes for myself, but it is what it is. Hope you enjoyed this one. Hey Musketeer, I see that you're still here. Thank you so much for checking out my 100% potion permit video. Do you want more by chance? How about 100% Stardew Valley 1.6 video, or 100% Day of the Diver, or 200 Days of Dinkum the movie? Until next time. One for all and all for one. Cheers, Musketeers.